What is it, everybody? Mark, we're here with Brandon, episode 126 of the Game Junction podcast, your number one source for whatever we do here. What do we do here, Brandon?
I have no idea what we do here. It's we do whatever, I guess, right?
Yeah, trying to go in a lot of energy there. Normally, just be like, "Yo, what's up, everybody?"
No, I loved it. I'm here for it.
Gotta throw some energy behind it. We're over a century and a quarter of episodes away, so
That's crazy, man.
We've been this far.
It is. It's really crazy, man. That made it to 126. Who knew? I was actually just
126
listening back to episode 2 today a little bit because I was going through the Spotify stuff, checking some stuff. So it started playing. And I was like, man, what a progression this show has made. Truly.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's been through, multiple phases of different things, and it's been very interesting ride for sure. So,
oh, it definitely has. And I guess going forward, it's pretty much going to be like the bulk of the news this month. I feel like until you get to like June, or even in June, it's just not a lot of Nintendo stuff because not a whole lot else has happened. It feels like you knew once the Switch announcement happened, it was just gonna, especially this month, it was just gonna suck all the air out of the room. And you get the feeling until summer hits and you start getting some of these other games dropping some of their news in the summer for the back half of the year that they kind of knew this was coming, so they just kind of like vacated any kind of like major like news cycle and just allow Nintendo to eat it all up. Unless you're Ubisoft, then it's just you can't stop shooting yourself in the foot. But
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Did you get any? Because I don't know if you want to like do some pickups first, and then we head right into the news, or
yeah, go ahead. You got some pickups. Go ahead.
Yeah, so 3 of these things I picked up surprisingly at GameStop today. I didn't even tell Brandon, so it's going to be a reaction for him. But my Soul Silver finally came in today. So my $300 spent on just the game cartridge for Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Hopefully it's money well spent when I actually get around to playing these games. And I was also shopping around for Black and White. I think it's Black 2 and then Platinum. Those are like the games I need to get. So like I have pretty much all the games for the most part. In one way or another, I've got all those games that I can play, whether physical or digital, or in some cases both, like, red, blue, and yellow. I've got those physically, but I've also got those digitally on the 3DS and stuff like that. Luckily, before the store kind of shut down.
Yeah.
But I also found some other neat stuff. This first one, I think, was the most surprising, or, you know what, I'll let the most surprising one last. These are 2 games, and I never owned an original Xbox, but these are original Xbox games. And they were made by From Software, and it's a 1 and a 2. What do you think they are? Original Xbox. I think it was like 03, 04 is when these games came out, give or take, or 02, 03.
Armored Core?
No. You know what's funny is on the back they advertised HD TV at 480p. I thought that was funny on the back of these.
Well, it was a big deal then at the time that there wasn't a lot of 480p games on the original Xbox, actually. Dang, I don't know.
He doesn't know. So it's a Otogi Myth of Demons and then Otogi 2 Immortal Warriors. The second game was like
those
like
are From Software games. I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, what's sad is the one was $30 at GameStop. The other one was $60. So like it's pretty much like the price of a new game, which I assume is just a really popular because a lot of Xbox games are most of them are under $10, like between $5 and $10.
There's a lot of cheap ones. I collect them. I collect them myself, and yeah, there's a lot of because I got my original Xbox.
So I saw that and I was like, I searched and saw some good reviews. I'm like, oh, these must be really popular, really good games. I mean, From Software, they've made a lot of good games. So I was like, oh, I don't know anything about these games, so I'll pick them up.
I never got to play the second one, but the first one is great. I loved it. I had no idea it was From Software. Yeah, Mr. Coffee said great games.
Unless Xbox works with these for the backwards compatibility, I'll have to find either buy an original Xbox or find a digital platform to actually play the games. But because I don't have an original Xbox.
I imagine those are not backwards compatible.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. So
I mean, you can check the list, but I imagine it's not.
I have to find a way to play those, just because as of right now, I don't legit have a way to play them. But I was like, there's.
I will say original Xboxes aren't ridiculous, so it's worth getting one. I think they're worth owning for sure.
I've been picking up a lot of older games Some of
Yeah.
those are like they tend to lean more towards the DS. But I also got a Game Boy Color game, and this game cost me $53 before tax at GameStop.
Okay, it must be a
Do
good
you have
one
a do
then.
you have a guess on what it could be? I was
$53
surprised I saw
Game Boy
this.
Color game.
The price didn't surprise me. I'm pretty sure the battery needs to be fixed
Oh,
for the save data.
it's got a battery, so we're talking like
It's got a clear see-through case, and it is a
okay,
first-party
Crystal.
Nintendo game.
Okay, Crystal.
A clear see-through case.
A clear. Oh well, I
It's
guess I
got the
wouldn't.
clear see-through cartridge. And it's a
Oh,
first-party Nintendo game on the Game Boy Color. Give you one more guess.
Gosh, I feel
I
like
mean,
I
to
should
be fair,
probably
there's
know
been a
this.
pattern of games I've been picking up that helps for handheld games that I pick up at
But it's a
GameStop
first party, so I'm like, I don't.
on the Game Boy Color. I was hoping it would kind of lean you in the right direction.
I know. I'm trying to think. What had the clear case that was a first party.
I'll give you
game?
one more hint if you want it.
All right, yeah, give me another hint.
You can play this game on NSO. I'm pretty sure. I'm like 90% sure it's on NSO.
Oh my god, I don't know. It's I can't think of
So
what.
it's only one of a sequel series of games, kind of like Pokemon, but it's Legend of Zelda: Oracle of Seasons.
Oh my god, I should have known.
I did everything I could to help you
I
with
know
that
I
as far as
should have
like
known that.
Game Boy Color games
I
and stuff
should have
like
known
that.
that. You got to get Oracle of Ages is one of my favorite Zelda games ever. Still today.
I was just surprised because this is the first time I've even seen a Game Boy Color game there, and I saw that I was like, I
See,
don't even
mine-
know how much it was. I was like, I have to buy that.
Mine never got that, and unfortunately, it's closing down. You can't even do Switch 2 pre-orders when they come up. So it's
Yeah, no,
unfortunate.
that sucks. Luckily,
That
well,
really
mine's not,
sucks.
but if mine shut down, the next closest store is all the way in Salt Lake City. So
It sucks, man. I'm pretty disappointed
Yeah.
about it. As crappy as GameStop can be at times, I still shop there a lot and do a lot of business
they have some
there.
good other just memorabilia. Though I wish they would kind of get a better selection of stuff in their stores. And the idea to kind of start focusing on the retro game market, I don't think it's a terrible decision. I just think like it needs to be a thing at every store.
It's like it's not like a big thing. Like you look up the retro stores and there's not that many.
No, but like GameStop selling some of these games or being a place to trade in, to me kind of makes sense. I mean I get it's like a dying business unless they were to like radically change what they do, but
Yeah, I don't know. No, it's unfortunate.
Everyone,
GameStop's been there forever too. So
everyone craps on them, but like let's be fair, for most people, like unless you're in or near a major city, that's the only place, it's the only option for any kind of game stores. Like unless you live in a metro area where you can have stores that cater towards games, primarily retro, but they have a different variety of stuff. In a small community, like you just don't have the option. Like GameStop is really your only option.
like for me, I'm in a small town, so like there is no other option other than like Walmart, and they don't even you can't do all the things you can at Walmart, like you can GameStop, and it's just it's unfortunate, man, because like Walmart doesn't get a lot of this stuff now.
It's only like brand new stuff.
Yeah, it sucks, man. It really sucks. I am pretty disappointed about it, but yeah, hopefully I will say this. I am supposed to be securing the Nintendo Switch kiosk. So that's good news. As long as nothing falls through.
Don't know where you're gonna put it, but it's neat to have.
I don't know yet either, but actually I'm probably gonna end up putting it at work for now until I figure out what I can do with it. But as long as it doesn't fall through, I'm supposed to be getting it. So
yeah, because at least I really like
everything but the console.
I think the retro game was like a really smart decision, or at least the fact that my store is doing it, just because it's like more what I buy now is like DS games, 3DS games, some older like I've gotten some 64 games and stuff like that. And now I bought Game Boy game, some Xbox. I don't think I picked up any PS2 or PS3, but
I was surprised.
That's like most of what I buy now, because I'm in there like once a week or every other week, and every time I'm in there, I usually find at least one nice little gem of a game or something like that.
Yeah,
which has been really surprising and stuff like that. Because I know a lot of what they get is probably people here locally that sell stuff to them, but it's just neat that like they have that option there. I didn't pick it up because I couldn't remember if I had it or not, but they also had it's Super Mario 64, I think, for the six. But I couldn't remember if I actually had that game, so I didn't pick it up. But I was like, I'm already spending, like enough money on these 3 games. I don't need to buy another
Yeah.
right now.
Somebody asked on Twitch, is Nintendo doing anti-consumer practices with the $80 games? I remember the media got on Sony at the start of this gen when they announced $70 games.
Yeah, but I mean, 70's kind of become the new standard, and then for all we know, it's only the one right now.
We
But
only have about the
to be
one,
fair,
yeah.
with everything else going on economically, and there's a lot of stuff that go into that, this isn't surprising and stuff like that. Um, Obviously, if you want to buy used, give it some time. With the physical market and stuff like that, there's always that option.
Yeah,
But it's just, I mean,
always.
everything's just over the last 5 years, 5-6 years, everything's just gotten drastically more expensive, and it's just as much as you don't want it, you've kind of seen the writing on the wall for a while now.
Yeah,
Especially
I
a
agree.
few months ago, we started talking about, oh, is GTA 6 going to be $100? Because
Right.
regardless of the quality of games, that just opens the door for 80, 90, $100 game price tags, whatever these studios want to price them at. And
Yeah,
obviously, like if you're going digital, like if you play on a PC and you use Steam and stuff like that, and you're willing to wait a year or two to buy a game, obviously you can get them significantly cheaper. Though it's the drawback of being digital and stuff like that. So uh, it's kind of a give and take, because you got to think these studios probably know they're going to lose some level of sales with these higher price tags, and they have to be taking that into account. Like you can't assume these people they're running like multi-billion-dollar corp businesses. They're not like complete idiots. They have to like do a risk analysis essentially. And if there's enough of a pushback, like people have talked about with the 3DS and stuff like that, they'll to some degree be willing to pull back on some of the prices. But we also, it feels like it's harder for Nintendo games to know how much development costs for these. Like we know how some studios, and you hear about their development costs and stuff like that. But you also have to weigh that against, well, how many copies of a game am I going to sell and stuff like that, and then replayability, how good's the game? There's a lot of stuff that go into it. But I mean, the $60 was pretty standard, probably around the 2000, like with the Xbox, PS2, GameCube, around that era is where that $60 price tag has been like cemented for like over 20 years. But like,
yeah.
there's a lot of other stuff that goes into that, where like everything just has gotten more expensive. Some of it that's out of their control, some of it just because they do things that just bloat the cost of their games. But it's for me, I was trying to take a moderate viewpoint, not be extreme, because everyone on the internet's just taking an extreme to either
Yeah.
I don't care, or it's absolutely the salt of the earth and Nintendo's evil.
No, I see. Here's the way I see it. I see it as they've got this as we know Mario Kart. We saw what happened with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. They supported that game forever. I think they're going to support this game probably for the whole life cycle of the system. I imagine. I think it's going to be a very big game. We know it's an open world game. There's a lot to it. I think it's going to be bigger than even Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was. I think it's going to be bringing back a lot of stuff. It's going to be bringing in a ton of new stuff. I think they know what I think that they're doing is they're pricing at what they think is fair for that particular title. I think that's how they're
Based
going
off
to do
of
it.
everything they see on their end, because obviously these people that are making these decisions have access to their internal information. The best thing I could say, and I think we've been talking about this for years, because very rarely, maybe I probably average one game a year, do I pre-order, and very rarely do I even buy a game at launch unless it's a game we're going to stream together. Is do it. People have been talking about forever. Don't pre-order game, and then wait till after the game comes out. Watch some videos, watch some reviewers, watch a live stream, and determine whether or not you're willing to, if you want to play that price tag, or you want to try to wait to get it cheaper. I think that's like the ultimate thing. Either wait for a sale, watch people play the game, and see if it's something that you're willing to spend that much money on. Because I get it. A lot of people probably don't
Yeah.
spend as much money on games as we do.
Yeah.
Luckily enough, I've got the disposable income right now to splurge a lot more than probably some people do.
That's what we do here.
But
That's what we do here.
yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like, you don't pre-order and crap. You shouldn't do it, especially if you know it, unless it's like a game you absolutely must have at launch, and just wait and see if it's what you want to play. And if it's a fun game, you're like, I don't want to play the 80. I'll wait and hopefully it goes cheaper on sale, or I can find a used copy and stuff like that. There are ways that, like, if you don't want to pay it, that's fine and it's understandable. I think that there's
I do
You have to make the cost analysis to you, kind of
right.
like these studios have to when they're trying to price their games and
I
stuff like
mean,
that. So
they have to because you see how many studio closures there are and how hard the game industry is right now. Like, even though it's still the number one medium, like you just see, it seems like there was week after week after week where all these studio closures and stuff. Like they couldn't
yeah.
stay afloat, they couldn't stay
Well, I mean,
alive.
to be fair, like that's the other issue is a lot of these studios you put out a bad product, people didn't like it, so you didn't play the game. And some of those games,
Well,
maybe they
some of
were
them they just
maybe
didn't
they
put out anything, or like they
yeah.
put out good stuff. Like there was the studio that did Hi-Fi Rush, amazing game, right? Like some people would say 10 out of 10 game closed down
I mean,
right,
there's
right
just
when it
people at
came
the
out.
top that just they want resources to go elsewhere. It's sometimes you can put a good game out and the game gets shut down. Sometimes it's self-inflicted wounds. It's I mean, at the end of the day, it's these are businesses that
So
are owned
wh-
by other businesses,
I will
and they're
add
going
to
to do
this,
what they need to make money.
and I will see if I can pull it up.
Honestly, it's one of those weird back and forth things where um, it's like I get the consumer side, but I also get where some of these businesses are coming from to some degree. So the best I can say is the businesses are going to do what they're going to do, so you have to do what you're going to do.
All right,
And if waiting a year or so, buying a used copy for 30, $40 that you think is more affordable, that might be the option. You don't always need to get games right at launch.
So for our audio listeners, I am pulling something up right now to show that things weren't always this way with video games, and I very very clearly remember this. And this isn't even the most expensive I remember seeing
I think
games
I know what
back
you're getting
then.
at. Yeah.
I mean, Fantasy Star was, I think it's Fantasy Star 3 was $90, I believe, when it came out. So this shows some of the prices of the games that came out. Earthbound, $90.
What
Donkey
year was
Kong
that? Out of
Country.
curiosity,
This would
do you
have
know?
been, let's
Or should I
see.
go like 95, 94?
Yes, I think it was trying to get
What do
the
you
exact year.
I'll
Fortunately,
I'll
it
go
doesn't
94 for the
list it.
time because a year here there's not gonna
It's
change a whole lot.
roughly
Like, I
around in
get
there.
it. The cartridges for these were not cheap, and it definitely drove some of the cost up, but if you do just, like, the $60 standard, in
Here's another one I
94,
could pull up as well. Yeah, here, okay, so
like, a
I was
60
actually
do
wrong
what year
about
was it?
no, I don't have the year, but I have another image.
No, you're good. So, I just went 94. A year to the left or the right's not gonna change these prices, but it's $60 back in 94 is the equivalent of, like, $130 today.
Yeah,
So if you just think of like buying power, and obviously there's a whole lot that goes into different stuff like that, but like the it's yeah, there's some give and take and some understanding. Games were not they were more expensive back then, but there's also the side of the hardware was a little bit more niche or the hardware was just more expensive in general and they weren't really selling as many copies. So to like offset the cost, they needed to sell it for a lot more because well, it's not the industry. They weren't having like the millions of players today that they did back then for some of these games. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it.
they didn't develop a standard for video game costs either. There wasn't a
Not
standard
really. It's
too
just
early
they
on.
just priced it and stuff like that. And
They priced it how
to be
they
fair,
thought they priced it probably based on the development they spent on it and what they thought was fair for their
yeah,
particular
based
game.
off how many copies you're expecting to sell. Because it's weird. Because I know obviously wasn't working in the 90s. I was a kid. I was born in 93. So, but you get it like as a kid growing up, like you'd maybe get like one or two games a year, like maybe a game for your birthday or a game or two for Christmas, and that's like all you were getting for like a whole year
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So, like if you're thinking of the idea, or even now as like a parent of like you're getting like 1 to 3 games a year, the 60 to 80 is probably a little bit easier to swallow compared to I'm buying a new game like every month or every other month or something like that. Where that
Yeah.
price tag might be a little bit harder to swallow because you're seeing the cost kind of inflate. But it's a weird thing because I can think back like you used to get really good at a game, but you only had like maybe 5 or 6 games on a SNES or a NES or a 64 or something like that, or a Genesis. So like you just got used to playing those handful of games as a kid and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I could pull up so many
I think
different
there
examples
is
on.
there is a proper nuanced discussion for game costs, but like if people don't want to pay that price tag, I get it. It's been 60 was the standard for so long. And now you're seeing the sudden jump like every year, another $10 for the games and stuff like that. It'd be one thing if they went to the $70 price tag, say back in 2018, and then it was almost another 5, 6, 7, 8 years before you saw another $10 jump. That would be a little bit easier compared to they're jumping $20 in like a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I could pull up example after example of some of the prices back then. I mean, you see Doom on the Super Nintendo, $95. Mortal Kombat 3,
And that's
$95.
in back then prices and stuff like that. So you got to like take that into account too.
Yeah, you gotta take.
No, I mean, it makes
take
more
into
sense when
account
your parents are like,
inflation.
all right, you're getting one game for Christmas. That's it. You won't get another game for another year.
Don't have me bring up Neo Geo prices because my God, holy crap! If I
And
pulled
to
up
be fair, those prices haven't dropped. They're just as expensive for most of those
they're
games. if not
more
now.
expensive.
That's what I'm saying. Retro games are just they've gotten. I think they went down probably in the early 2000s, and then it's spiked again.
I'll see if I can pull up a
Unless
Neo
you're willing to
Geo
get like
price
Japanese
tag.
games, then those are hit or miss. But you probably can't play unless you have like the console, a
Oh,
modded
bro, you
console,
imported
or
games that
you
was
can
so
read
expensive
Japanese.
though. It was so expensive to
Well, I
import
mean, if
games.
you were to go over there like today, you could probably find retro games far more affordable and stuff like that. It's a whole different market, but like there's pros and cons with that. But I do think it's funny, like to mod your console, the SNES to play Super Famicom games. I think you just have to like get rid of a piece of plastic in the console, and you can just plug the game in.
Wait, for
That's
which
the
console?
and I might be getting it wrong, but I'm pretty sure most of the regional locking they did back then wasn't software; it was on the actual hardware. Like they would add certain things into the cartridge slot that would prevent the disc from going or the cartridge from going in.
Yeah,
Because if
you're
you could
thinking
actually
of
get it to
Super
plug
Nintendo.
in, you would be able to actually play it. I thought it was
Yeah,
the Super Nintendo was one of those where like
yeah,
if you like essentially get rid of a piece of plastic, you can put the Super Famicom games in and they work. That's what the region lock was.
yeah.
Which I still think was stupid back then, but I get it.
Look at these prices. Look at these wholesale. These are wholesale prices. These aren't even the retail prices. $120 for all these. These are wholesale.
I mean, it
This
makes sense when you realize the console
It's
sold
not
terribly.
even retail price. Like that's
Now
crazy.
it makes sense why nobody bought the Neo Geo. $120. Nobody's paying for these game prices.
And today, one of the greatest retro systems of all time, too. And it
Was
was
that console $500 back then?
yeah,
Oh, that's like the price of like the PS5 Pro today.
yeah.
$800,
That's
$900 if
way
you
more
account
than
for
that.
inflation.
That's like 900. I mean, try to buy it today. I'm on the lookout for one because I'll show you. Hold
So
on.
what year did that come out in?
You have to Google it real quick because I'm not sure.
Neo Geo. Because I'm just curious what year it came out.
I'm trying to get
So it was
I
released in
thought I
1990.
ordered one, and remember I got scammed with credit card deal.
Oh yeah. So
Because
for the
I bought this. It's a flash cart, so I can play every game on the system because I thought I was getting it, and I still don't have a system yet. So
okay, so like if you account for from 1990 when that came out, I just rounded up to the $500. $500 in 1990 is equivalent of essentially $1,200 today,
yeah, it's very expensive. Yeah, very
which is
expensive.
probably how much it costs today. Realistically, probably around that $1,000 price tag. if I had to guess.
You're right. You're looking at
Because it's probably not. They didn't sell that many, so they didn't produce. They just
you can
stopped
see
producing them after a while.
some of them loose that got like damage and stuff for like $800, $700, but then most of them are priced well above $1,000.
I think talking like gaming prices just as a topic is really fascinating, and then it's like a whole other thing you go into like, well, why would they cost so much back then? Because there's like kind of like today, there's like so many things that go into it on top of like today it's either fully digital, so like the distributor essentially produced the cost, and
Yeah,
storage space has just gotten so much bigger and so much cheaper, or they were on like discs, whether it's the CDs to Blu-rays, and that's relatively inexpensive. That's why the PS2 did or the PlayStation did so well. The
yeah.
PS1 and the PS2 was it uses the CDs essentially, I think, for both. Or
Mhm.
did they do DVDs for the PS2? I can't remember. But essentially they used it was easier, more storage space, and it was just so much cheaper. So you could essentially undercut Nintendo on the average cost for games, essentially. And
Yeah.
it looked better.
Yeah, Mr. Coffee said people bought them during that time. I remember we used to have a library we were selling. So yeah, I think
It's
retro games
crazy.
also play a huge factor in why games are going up today. I mean, like I said, the cost of development has gone up. There's so much to it. Like I feel like if I'm being realistic, like the price of video games probably should have gone up a long time ago, right? I think a lot
I
of these
mean,
studios wouldn't have closed if things
to be
went up a
fair,
long time ago.
if you look at the average cost for inflation, it really wasn't until 2020 that all of a sudden it's just been a massive spike. But to be fair, like if there was more like a decade between these $10 price jumps, it would be far more digestible. People would be like,
Yeah.
and then you just kind of get used to it, like they did with the $70. But now all of a
But
sudden it's
that
80. About a year later, it's getting harder and harder to swallow because of how quickly the prices are jumping. Just because you know, when you account for inflation like the last 5 years and everything else going on, it's just everything's just gotten more expensive. So it's like the games are just doing that exponential jump, and it's not an area where maybe people have as much money, or you've been so conditioned to like one price tag essentially.
Yeah, the thing is like, I haven't I how come when the news came out, like, obviously it's a rumor, we don't know for sure, but it was talked about everywhere when GTA 6 could potentially be $100 game, there was 0 pushback on that. I saw nobody pushing back on that, but as soon as, Mario Kart World gets announced, everybody's pushing back on it. But
I
not
think it is.
everybody, not everybody. I do see
I
a lot of Nintendo fans that are like, "Okay, I understand the price jump," but there's a lot of people pushing back.
A lot of it's just because that's what trends. People just like dunking on other people and stuff like that. Because if you only play on the PC side, everything's just significantly cheaper, though there's no physical that goes along with that. So you have to take that into account as well, because you see it with literally everything. I'm not going to say we haven't partaken in dunking on. I dunk on Ubisoft any chance I get,
Yeah,
but
we
just
dunk
for
it
a
on a
whole
lot of
separate
stuff.
reason, not
Yeah,
necessarily
we dunked
the
hard
price of
on
their
Marvel
games, but
Rivals, so and then we ended up kinda liking it, so
yeah, right.
that's all good.
But it really just comes down to the fact of the perceived. It really comes down to the individual person's perceived value of the game. If it's $100, everyone's gonna assume based off of their track record that GTA 6 it'll have the perceived value that it'll be worth $100. That's really what it comes down to. People see Mario Kart as like another Mario Kart game, or it's a cheap racing game.
It's
How in the world is there gonna be $80 worth of content there and stuff like that? It really comes down to like if you thought that the game everyone was in agreement that it was being packed in with all this content and stuff like that, then it'd be
but
less
guess
pushback.
what?
It really comes down to what you perceive is what's it worth to you.
Guess what? Here's the thing that people don't factor into that. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, $60 game. Gotta get the expansion pass. You have to pay for that, right?
Yeah.
Nobody complained about that. You also have to
Well,
pay for Nintendo Switch Online. So
people
you
do
add that
complain
in,
about that, but these are
they
separate
do?
costs. It's not
The
like an
expansion
upfront cost.
courses?
Well, because people assume you're still
I
gonna have
know
to pay those costs on top of the $80 cost.
you we
So it's
we
just
don't
you're just
we don't
paying
we don't
$20 more
know
off the
that,
gate.
though. We
No,
don't
but
even know that there'll be we don't know
to
yet.
be fair, you can kind of assume any extra DLC you're gonna pay more for. That's just an industry
Eh,
standard and stuff like that.
maybe. I mean, maybe we don't know yet. It could happen for sure. I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't happen at all
But I
because
also think
there's
Nintendo
gonna
might
be
be
DLC for it for
I
sure.
think I think Nintendo might be trying to take advantage of the fact that it's like their only first party game at launch. So most people that are gonna get this at launch won't have a problem paying the $80.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then
getting
maybe
it.
by the holiday season they drop it down essentially
What
from
I'm
$10 to $70.
pissed off about is that on that survey, I accidentally clicked the non-bundled version, meaning I would have to buy it separately.
I mean, that's
If
assuming
I get
you're
if
able to
I
get it
get
and stuff
through,
like that.
yeah, if I even get through on that, I am at with my knowing my luck, I won't even get through on that. I'll have to try to find it from a retailer, and it's going to be a whole fighting the scalpers thing. That's what I'm
Yeah.
worried about. I'm so
But
worried about that. I keep thinking about it. I
and
keep thinking,
we do have some news later on as far as like the at least for the over here in the US and some of that stuff, the
yeah.
new
Let me
games and pre-orders and
show the
stuff.
two. I just had a couple small pickups real quick. One of them I can't actually like show in person, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna
just
pull up the
about a half hour in, and we haven't even gotten back to any of the main content we were going to talk
this.
about yet.
I know.
Went pickups and then bam off to the races.
All right, so a very, very, very expensive pickup that I got was this particular monitor here. It's this Alienware. It's a 27-inch 4K QD OLED gaming monitor. It was $900. It was very expensive, and I
Oh
got
yeah,
this. I got I have a PS5 Pro. I've got my
that's like the price of a PS5 Pro.
it's more expensive, more
It's a
expensive
whole
than that.
$100 more expensive.
Um, But yeah, no, it's fantastic. Like it's absolutely wonderful. Haven't got to spend a ton of time with it with gaming yet, but my God, it's like unreal how crazy things look on it, man. It's just nuts. But yeah, that was my most expensive pickup, which is breaking the bank there a little bit. But I also got, on a smaller note, I'm sure a lot of people are aware of sheets now because they're like everywhere. Well, sometimes they carry Pokemon cards. I went in there, they had a standee. I've gotten 2 of their standees before in the past. I wasn't able to get this one. They threw it away before I could get it. But I bought the last 3 packs they had there, and they happen to all be different designs. This is the first time I've been able to buy any Journey together, and I've been looking.
Where'd you get those at?
Sheets.
Okay, because like my GameStop just completely stopped carrying
Yeah,
Pokemon cards
mine did
together.
too. Mine's not carrying them either. I mean, obviously it was closing down, but they stopped getting any
I know
a
it's
while
frustrating
ago.
because like essentially I'm at this point where it's like I have to buy them online because Walmart never carries them. They're always sold
Well,
out. So
these are the first new Pokemon packs I've gotten in a very, very long time, years.
usually if
So
you wait like a year and stuff like that, the scalpers moved on to the new set and you can get some of the older sets once they get more prints out later.
I
It's usually
guess
what I would do.
since Evolving Skies, this is the first time I gotten a new set when it's the new set. You know what I mean? Like I've
Yeah,
gotten a
I know there's
current
something fun
set.
about just ripping a handful of packs and stuff like that, and just
I've
seeing
had these
what
for
you
like
get.
5 days. I haven't even opened them yet.
I mean,
So
to be fair, I at one point I think I bought a bunch of cards over the span of like 3 months up until Christmas because I was gonna have like 2 weeks
yeah.
off of work, and then I just had like a crap ton of cards. Like I just
Well,
spent 2-3 days just ripping and organizing them because like I just packed bought a little bit here, bought a little bit there. So I was like, well, this is like my Christmas gift to myself, a whole bunch of cards, and I spent
yeah.
like 2 days ripping them and going through them, and I had enough time and enough enjoyment out of it.
Well, the one thing was I was like deciding if I wanted to do shorts with them, and then also I don't have anything to put them in, so I need a binder.
Oh, you gotta get the sleeves, top loaders for some of your good cards, and then you don't need a binder right away, but a binder for the cards as well.
But I've
At the
already
very
got
least, you should at
some
least sleeve
cards.
them. All of
I've
them
already
should
got
probably
a
be
good
sleeved.
stack of cards that need to be put in something.
Yeah. At least make sure you got the sleeves, and then buy a handful of top loaders, so if you get any good pulls, stuff like that, you can put your good cards in those and stuff like that. So
Yeah, what I wanted to get was like one of the retro, like old school book. I've actually been looking. There's somebody on Facebook Marketplace as 2, and I had one of the binders as a kid. I had the Charizard one. He's got the Charizard and Blastoise, like 90s
yeah,
Pokemon card holders, and he's got them on there for $25. I got a little damage on
that's
the
not
back,
bad.
but he said he'll come to Circleville this week, so I think I want to get those. Then
Just
I'll
double
open
double
these up.
check, make sure the actual inside's not damaged where the actual cards are gonna go.
Yeah, I want to double check them, but if that happens, that's really, really cool.
I do know they say, if you're gonna store them, you don't want, if unless you can avoid it, you don't want the 3-ring binder storage
Oh,
ones. You want the
really?
ones that
Why?
actually have the actual, 'cause it's easy for the cards to get bent on the 3 in a 3-ring binder
Oh, okay.
if you stack them incorrectly. You can technically do it here or there because I ended up having to do it because it's just cheaper to get the 3-ring binder ones, but you have to be careful that they're not gonna get smushed up against the ring binder and get smashed and stuff like that. So,
It'd be cool if I could get some of those retro ones, pick up a
but I mean, if
few
you
of
can
them,
still
and
get it,
start storing 'em.
why not?
Yeah, they're cool. I mean, they got a little damage on the back, you can see on the
Yeah,
photos. They're old, they're from, like, '98, so, but I
they're
had
gonna
the
be damaged one way or another.
yeah, I had the Charizard one, so it'd be cool to have that again. He's also got the Blastoise one, so, um, and there's a Venusaur one out there. That'd be cool to get too. But yeah, I just got to get something to put them in. So that's the main reason. Like, see, I got like a random Pokemon card just sitting here. I got a stack sitting over there. So
Yeah,
I haven't been big on buying I'm big on the TCG Pocket. I really am.
it's
I think it's a great app.
the easiest way, the most accessible and stuff like that.
It is. It's much easier for me, and I'm just not fighting the scalpers for these. But I also got the Pokemon Select Mew statue here, or not statue, but it's like I guess you would say like a figure. But it's from the Select line. I really like the Select line. I've got lined up. I wish I could show you guys lined up all here the Pokemon like statues that are all like different designs and come with 2 Pokemon each. Those are all setting right here in front of me. So I saw the Pokemon Select Mew. Mew's one of my favorite Pokemon, so I had to get that there. Unfortunately, they don't have a Pokemon Select like Celebi or Jirachi or anything. I wanted to get some of those, but I was really
Fortunately,
hoping. I like the little your little statue that you got me from Japan got me to open up all the other ones and put them out here. So that's the reason I did, because when I opened that
Nice.
up, it was the first one I put over here. Those I left sealed for months. I mean, I had probably actually one of them for like a year. And I was like, you know what? I want to open these up. All these look good right here. I really now I really want to get the freaking Jirachi one of what you sent me, because they're blind, they're basically blind bags, so you don't know your blind box, I guess.
I mean, they did sell where you could get all of them together. It was just like was it like 8,000? It's like 8,000 yen or something like that. It was
It'd
like
be
almost
cool to get them
$100.
all.
It was expensive.
They're really
But
nice.
yeah.
I really like them because they got like a Pokemon that like floats above, it's hanging.
I'm just
So
saying,
like
Japan loves their gotcha. Pokemon cards are like the epitome of that. But
yeah. I have Marvel Overpower cards from the 90s. They worth anything? I remember those cards. I don't know if they have any
yeah,
value
you
or
could probably
not.
try Googling it or go into some. I know there's like sites for Pokemon cards that track the value. You could try like searching values and stuff like that
I
online.
guarantee my dad still has his mark, because he's got all of his comic books, all this. So
It
the
really comes
superhero
down to
stuff
the
was
condition of the
really big
card.
with my dad. Like he collected the cards, comic books. I know he still has all of that stuff. But I've never asked him about it. I feel like I should ask him about it. I think it's the time to maybe be like, hey, maybe we should pull some of these out, because there might be some value and stuff there. Like,
Or if it's
like
valuable, go get it graded potentially if it's in good condition.
yeah,
If that's something you want to do.
he's got the comic book long boxes and stuff full of comic book issues and stuff. Like he was a big Superman guy. So that was his main
Oh yeah.
thing. But he had like I said, the Marvel cards. We even had God, what were the war cards that we collected back then? I think it was was it Vietnam War? Or was it for, let me see.
I feel like it'd have been Gulf War then at that point with the 90s, potentially.
We collected them. We bought the full boxes.
I had like a
of
rough
them,
idea what you're talking about. It's hard to tell what they would have done. I just don't remember enough about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up.
Was he ever into Magic back then?
He was not in the Magic, no.
So there's like a 0% chance he's like got a hidden Black Lotus just sitting around.
Nah, that'd
Because
be
even in
rough.
bad condition, that's still a really expensive card.
Man, I'm trying to find. There's like all kinds of different war cards. Yeah, but they're all like current. I'm trying to find the
Yeah.
exact line of cards that. Anyway, we opened up, and actually, it might have been for the Iraq War. To be honest, when did that
What?
start?
Iraq was 2003, I think. That's when that started.
Maybe. Well,
Yeah,
maybe
because
it
it would have been
wasn't. Maybe it
Afghanistan
wasn't for that then.
2001, Iraq 2003, if I
Okay,
remember that
maybe it
correctly.
wasn't for that then. I mean, it was. It would have been.
I don't know how quickly they would have like pumped those out though.
Yeah, I know. I can't. How I can't find it. I've even seen these come up like before. I saw it not that long ago. I can't think of what the name of it is though. There you go.
Oh, you say that? Oh my god! I don't know if I can. I don't know. I think I lost it on X. I saw somebody with a card with Saddam on it in like in Japan, and took a picture of like a
Yeah.
bunch of one of those used figure stores and stuff like that with a picture like someone like taking along with me or something like that. And it was funny, but I don't know if I can find it again. You
Maybe
mentioned it, I
find it.
saw that, and I thought it was like super
Oh,
funny
I
at
found
the
it.
time.
It's Desert Storm. That's what it was called. Desert Storm. Okay, I found it. It was from Tops. All right. I got here. I'll show an image of this is it. This is it. We bought boxes and boxes of these to open. Like we bought so many of them. It's ridiculous. My dad didn't particularly wasn't like interested in the military or anything. We just like trading cards. But this was it.
Yeah.
Desert Storm. These were the cards we bought. We bought boxes and boxes of these and opened them up together. It was pretty fun. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just trying to just pull, see what you get and stuff like that. Because Tops has always done.
Tops
good
does
quality stuff like that.
everything though. That's the thing.
Because I mean, they do like the sports cards, which is like if you're really into like the value of like trading cards, like sport, like baseball cards, is like I think some of the most
These
valuable cards out there. It's
so
ridiculous how much they go for.
okay, so here's another here I'll pull this one up. This is a updated version of that. Or it's another set. So it says pro set, so I'll pull this one up. Because I do remember this box as well. So these Desert Storm Pro Set cards, apparently. 100% of the Pro Set profits from these benefits families of Desert Storm veterans, it says. So it's interesting. There's another variant of those sets. But yeah, man, there was all kinds of cards. All kinds of cards I had. I had the Digimon cards. I had Dragon Ball Z cards. I had Sailor Moon cards. I had, oh my gosh.
I mean, even now you can get trading cards for like any kind of like video game or
Now
anime or
they're
something like
even
that.
worse.
It's ridiculous.
Everything. Now
Everything gets a
everything
trading
has
card
a
game.
trading card.
I've
But
got some Hololive trading cards.
I mean, there's trading cards for everything now. It's crazy.
Actually, you
But
wanna know what's crazy? You wanna know how much the most expensive trading card sold for? And it was back in August of 22.
how much? What was it?
It sold for $12.6 million.
Oh my god.
It is a Mickey Mantle 1952 Topps card at a graded mint SGC 9.5.
Can you pull it up by chance so you can see what it
I've
looks
got the
like?
Wikipedia page for
Is
it. I
it
can pull up.
Is it the long card, or is it a
Uh,
regular size card?
it's just like a regular
It's
size
a
card.
long
I don't
card.
know how you were gonna see the page. 'Cause I think this was the card,
Oh, Mickey
essentially.
Mantle was a normal size card. Okay, yeah, I was thinking of the one below
Yeah.
it.
They adjusted the price to, like, 13.5 million, but it's crazy how much that's the price it sold for and stuff like that.
Can
Like,
you pull up the
baseball
one
cards are
below it?
ridiculously expensive.
Because they used to do these long cards. I always found those interesting.
This was a 1909 to 1911 Honus Wagner, which sold same month that one did. It's a private sale for 7.25 million.
And then a Babe Ruth right there, 1914. I haven't
Yeah.
even seen that particular Babe Ruth
And these
card
aren't
before.
graded particularly high. They say very good 3. I don't know what that is with that, but it's also like a century-old card,
Yeah, that's
which means
1914.
just
That's
having the card, it
crazy.
wouldn't matter the condition, just having the card. And that these are the prices these cards actually sold for and stuff like
That's
that, so
nuts, man. Oh my god. Yes, the sports cards, man. Baseball, isn't it crazy? Because baseball is like not that relevant anymore.
no, but
Um,
even now, I think sports cards now are still more valuable than, like, Pokemon cards, and you think of, like, how that's, like, a really
how is
big
that even
craze.
possible?
But sports cards are they're very valuable. The people that are into collecting sports cards are willing to spend
Oh, I
the
know they
money
do. I
and
know
stuff
they
like
do.
that. That's to be fair,
But to
it
me, I
doesn't
see it the same as Pokemon because it's like they're both like the craze is like ridiculous. Like
yeah,
each
like, you can price a card at whatever you want, but the value's not there unless someone's willing to actually pay for it and
the
stuff
one
like
thing I
that,
will
so
say, I can see sports cards all day long, but I never see Pokemon cards ever. Like
well,
none,
I
none
think
to
they're just
buy. My
better.
Walmart was completely empty. Had a 0 cards. There was nothing. Not even those like repackaged Walmart pack cards. They didn't have
Well,
anything there.
I think it's the one of those that the average person, you're gonna buy what you want, what you like, and Pokemon's just a really hot thing at some of these stores. I'm pretty sure if you actually went to an actual proper card store, they probably sell a lot of like sports cards as well and stuff like that. It
I'm
just depends
sure.
on the who you're selling to, who's your target market, and people that are probably super into sports cards aren't like maybe the biggest Walmart shoppers. I might be wrong, but or maybe it's just Topps is better at printing out cards and keeping them in stock.
Yeah,
Who knows?
yeah, we got Grove said I work retail and it's insane what people spend on Pokemon cards. Yeah, I believe it, man. I believe
I
it.
mean, I guess it's a good transition because for the first time since, well, that what 15 years,
Yeah, 15
was
years.
it Chingling? I can't remember. It's
Chingling,
Chingling
yeah.
because it's all in Japanese, so I can't read it. Its first new Pokemon card in 15 years since the Gen 4 cards came out.
It's
Which is
crazy.
crazy because it's been in like so many Pokemon games. It's been like in every Pokemon
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, it's crazy it hasn't had a card. It's just weird to think a Pokemon hasn't had a card in 15 years. It's
Oh
cool
yeah,
it's getting it though.
yeah. It's always good to see some new stuff like that.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
not the worst design I've ever seen. Like, it's not my favorite
It's just
Pokemon,
not,
but
it's by no means my favorite. Yeah, but it's definitely not the worst. I mean, we could be talking about the garbage Pokemon and stuff like that.
I mean, I kinda think
There's
Chingling
there's
is
some
kind of a garbage
there's some
Pokemon, but
janky designs out there, I will say.
yeah, because Chingling was as seen in TCG 2009, uh, but it's in Chimecho, its evolved form has 14 cards. So for whatever reason, its evolved form gets more cards than the base set, which is kind of weird to me.
It is a little
From
weird.
what they're saying. But I mean, it's good to see old Pokemon get some love that have kind of been ignored for a while.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting for sure.
And speaking, because I think this is a little bit of pop culture, a little bit of funny. Because I know we talked about it. Have you had the chance to go see the Minecraft movie? Because I haven't.
No, not yet. Me and my daughter are going, so I want to do a video with you about it.
Yeah,
we're
I'm gonna try to go this weekend. Have you got a chance to see the video that's
the
been going around
chicken
the last few
jockey
days?
stuff.
The chicken jockey video?
Yeah,
I'll pull it
I
up
don't
here.
understand the whole reference. I don't get. I actually haven't seen the actual scene from the movie.
So if you
that's what
actually
you're saying.
play Minecraft, a chicken jockey is just it's a baby zombie riding a chicken. It's just one of the more rare spawns in the world. But for whatever reason, like especially in this movie theater, like they were like prepared, they went nuts, and I think you kind of see in the video, they kind of shut it
Okay.
down. I'll play it real quick. Hopefully you can hear it. Like they actually brought an actual crazy because the dude right there brought an actual chicken.
Oh my god!
And he shuts down the movie, and the dude had like bail. I'm sorry, this is just so funny to me.
This is a spawn in the game. Like this can really happen.
Yeah, it's
chicken
a
riding
baby,
a zombie.
It's a baby zombie riding a chicken.
A baby zombie riding a chicken.
Yeah, it's called Chicken Jockey.
You know how much we trashed on this movie, but it's been so successful. It's the most successful video game movie of all time right now. I think
it's one of those where it's just like it's from what I've seen, it's just a popcorn flick essentially. It doesn't do anything special, but it's just supposed to be like a fun. It's just a fun, stupid movie. Essentially, like a popcorn flick that you'd see in the summer. That's kind of what I've heard about around it. I mean, to be fair, the initial from everything you've seen, you're like, I don't know how this is. This feels like they're gonna flop, but it's gotten really popular. So
it surpassed
people like it.
Super Mario Brothers movie. It surpassed that, and it's not even been out that long.
You know what? I'll say this.
Crazy.
Maybe because I still have that teenage boy mind, that sense of humor in me, but like this feels like it's some really good advertising for the movie to see something like this.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah,
that whole theater was like they were. I mean, yeah, whoever has to clean that mess sucks to be you. Like, clearly, everybody in this theater was like in on this joke, and they were just like waiting for that scene to just go nuts.
That's hilarious, man.
I couldn't help but bring that up just because I think it kind of fits. We talked about it. I was like, oh my god, this dude brought a chicken into a movie theater.
That's hilarious.
Oh god, it's stupid but funny. I couldn't help it. I was like, I have to throw this in here because I think it's funny.
Oh, that's hilarious for sure. Yeah, no, we're gonna watch it. I'm trying to make it work out where I can be able to take her there and stuff. So it's either going to be here. This is how it's going to work out. It's either going to be this Sunday or it's going to be next Sunday. It's because we got the podcast, we got the streams Saturday, Sundays, Friday, Saturdays. So I'm trying to work it out. We've got a father-daughter dance tomorrow at our school. So
nice.
We're doing that. So so I have it's 5 to 7. So I have to like rushing back to get to the stream and stuff like that for tomorrow. But it's all
if you're running late, we'll
no. We won't be late. I've got it worked out how we're going to do it. So should be on time. Should be good. No problems. But yeah, so what we got next?
This one's kind of rumored, but it's rumored that essentially all these old retro controllers on top of the GameCube controller could potentially be making their way to the Switch 2 and stuff like that. It was posted on X by Nash Weedle. It's posted in I believe Spanish and stuff like that, so you have to translate it. But there's a rumor out there that potentially like some of these controllers, I think primarily the NES controller could be the next one that comes to Switch. I know there was issues with the GameCube because it's only supposed to work with the GameCube on NSO essentially and stuff like that. It's not it's not going to work with anything else. But it's nice to be able to play, even if it's primarily on NSO for most of these games, to play them on at least the controller because it's what feels most natural for
Yeah, for
some of these
sure.
games.
And it's one of the best controllers of all time. I mean,
Yeah, but like
like,
if you're playing like a SNES game, like playing it on a SNES controller, it's going to feel the most natural.
yeah,
Like, let's
for
just be
for
fair.
sure. For sure.
For
I
better or
agree.
for worse, even if they're charging like $60 to $80 for these controllers.
Yeah,
But
I think the NES controllers were 50 when I bought them. But yeah, they're gonna have to re-release these because the Joy-Cons are different. I mean, they're gonna have to.
you
So
like
my
even if you can
if
map
it's
a modern controller, it's never gonna feel natural because these games were always designed with a certain controller in
yeah,
mind.
for sure. Like NES, I want to play with an NES controller. Like that's just how it
Yeah.
is. Super Nintendo, I want to play a Super Nintendo controller.
Emulating
That's
GameCube games without using a GameCube controller is just god awful because of the way the controller's set up with the A and everything kind of around it, which is a unique design, but like it means if you're playing these games without that kind of controller, it's kind of janky.
I have so many variations of GameCube controllers, like for the Switch, for PC, for all that stuff.
Wavebird was the way to go back in the
I
day,
had
baby.
I have GameCube Joy-Cons for the Switch that turn into a GameCube controller when you put it together.
Oh, that's
I've
dope.
got I've got I wish I could pull some because I just literally just put them all in a container. I bagged them all up
Yeah.
and put them in a container so they don't get scratched or anything. But yeah, I've got, bro, I kid you not, it's ridiculous. I think I have well over 100 controllers. Well
Jesus
over
Christ.
100. Like it's a problem. I have a whole tote full of ones I have not even gone through and bagged yet, so they don't get ruined. But the ones I bagged, like I've got well over 100 controllers. It's ridiculous. But I've got like 25 plus video game systems. So I like there's um I'm into a lot of the more obscure stuff like that, thing. So I've got a lot of systems and handhelds, but yeah, a lot
Yeah.
after.
We also have some news coming out, but essentially Nintendo for the Switch 2, it's breaking the trend they've done for quite a while. They don't have analog triggers; it's all digital, which is something I don't think anybody else has gone because the Xbox, PS5, I think they say the Steam Deck as well also all use analog for their controllers,
Mm,
but Nintendo's going all digital.
don't know how I feel about that, but I feel like it has something to do with Joy-Con drift.
That would feel weird. I know they did kind of say some of
All
their
they had to
developers
do,
prefer the digital triggers and stuff like that. I don't know how
I
that
don't.
works, but
I certainly don't.
I know they
All
say
they
probably
had
the
to do
one.
was go Hall effect, and I know people that sell. There's companies because they've sent me out their controllers. Controllers are like $20 and have Hall effect joysticks in it. These are like Chinese developed, controllers that are like $20 and they have Hall effect sticks in them. Like I have so many controllers that have Hall effect sticks in them from these different various companies that have like sent me out controllers or that I've even bought controllers from. So it makes no sense why they don't adapt that technology into this because it wouldn't be a problem. You could have analog. I don't
Yeah.
know,
I mean, some people say it's like
but
probably the biggest thing is racing games, and well, this isn't really a thing that affects Mario
but
Kart all
this
that well.
specifically
But
triggers. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't.
so what they said, Sasaki admitted that it was partially due to some very fussy developers preferring digital shoulder buttons, while Kawamoto said that his team decided that the instant input of digital triggers was a better fit for the Switch 2 over brief lag that comes with the analog ones, which I'm sure is microscopic to the average player. It's not really that it's not really all that noticeable, but
I mean, if it's a trigger, if it's just the triggers we're talking about, it might not be that big of a deal. I don't know. I prefer the analog triggers because you
yeah.
can feel
So
it.
because I don't want to like
You can
completely,
feel
this
it.
was for the triggers specifically and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So the triggers are what's going to be digital. But it's like everybody else doesn't really use the digital. Like I like what the PS5 does for
Bro,
the
is this
triggers
real
with the
life?
what
Hold on. Is this
bro just says is it real life? I'm like I don't know what you're talking about.
it won't let me share it because I got it on another monitor. Crap. No, I was
Poor
looking
guy.
at the images there, and it's got how they have the where you put the Joy-Cons together, they're like
Yeah.
separated. Can you pull the image up? It won't let me pull it up.
I think this is what you're talking about. I can grab
I
the
just
right
thought that
one.
was kind of interesting. Yeah.
This one. It's like
That's
right before
kinda
they snap into place.
yeah, why is it like that?
What do you mean?
I mean, who would wanna play like that?
Well, not. It's just for display purposes. It's just an example of a photo.
Oh, okay. Alright. I thought it was, like, real.
This is
I'm
very
like,
clearly just for like them taking a like set up for a picture.
"Oh, well,
Because
fooled
both
me."
the player 1 controllers are on, which wouldn't work if they're in this configuration.
What do you think about the Switch 2 Pro controller design? I think it looks good.
I think it looks fine because it's pretty much the same as the first one. They just put a 2 and added the C button. That's the only real differences.
I would love to hear them come out and say that they've got Hall effect triggers and, or Hall effect
For the Pro
joysticks
controller, like, if
and
you're gonna pay more, that would be nice to have and stuff like that, but
yeah, it's a premium controller. Obviously, it's something you
yeah.
gotta buy separate, and, that's
But
a
it is nice.
day one purchase for me because that's how I play.
Every Pro controller they put out since the Wii, has always been just a really nice controller.
I agree, 100%, I agree. Yeah,
For whatever reason, they can d they're
the Classic
th
Pro was
this
really
can
good on the Wii.
this setup I can't stand, but their Pro controllers are always nice.
Always nice, and I still think I actually prefer the Wii U Pro controller over the Switch Pro controller just slightly. I love the way that it feels. It just feels perfect, and it's got like a 90-hour battery life. It's
Yeah, it does have a
crazy.
long one, and you can tell
It's
they didn't really
crazy.
obviously, you've got the millimeter jack and stuff like that. They just added a few things, and they essentially
Yeah.
it's you add the yeah, they talked about the back buttons, but, like, why change a design if it already
The
works? I
sticks
mean,
do look a
PlayStation
little
does
different. It's got
the
that little
same
shade
thing.
underneath it where it's, if I can grab one of my Pro controllers. Yeah, I
I
got
got
one
mine, but
here.
it doesn't work. The battery's dead.
Yeah, so it's got like that shade underneath it, that gray shade on the
Oh, to have that difference and stuff like that.
yeah, it makes it stand out a little bit different. So, like looking at it, like you got the C button, obviously is like the main difference, but it does look different. Like where the little lines are and stuff like that is completely different from the Switch Pro controller. You know,
Yeah, a little more top down. Yeah, I mean, it's slightly different. You don't have that little see through, but is that the actual Pro or is that something else?
that's the Pro controller.
Oh,
It's
sorry,
missing.
your camera's mirrored. That's I was like, "Why is the A on the
Is my camera
other
mirrored?
side of the controller?" I think it
Oh
was
my
when you
god,
held it up.
crap! Better fix that. Oh man, my
There you go,
camera's mirrored the
it'll be
whole
a little bit
time.
easier to
You just
compare.
now told me. I didn't even
I didn't
realize.
notice till just now.
Yeah, no.
There you
So,
go.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
it's
like,
pretty much
it's
the
definitely
same setup.
it's definitely, the same type of setup, but,
They just
you've
added the
also got
C
the
and the Joy-Con.
um yeah, so yeah, I mean, it looks like a good controller, though. It actually reminds me more of the Wii Pro controller, or the Wii U Pro controller, I'm sorry.
I think that's the only
Uh
one I didn't have.
it's so good because the battery life on it was ridiculous. It was like you get 80,
That
90
helps.
hours of battery life out of it. Like that's just a fact. Like you really can.
It is
Um
insane.
it's crazy, yeah. It was a great controller. I loved it. But
Yeah.
obviously the stick setup was a little bit different. It was set up like a PlayStation controller, so maybe Nintendo doesn't want to pay royalties to whoever created the hollow sticks. They probably find it cheaper to use a stick. They're so cheap from what I heard. It's sub $1 to use Hall effects joysticks. That's what I heard. So that's coming from a pretty good source. So you're looking at a sub $1 to add into the controller. So if that's too much for you, I, you're a little questionable. So
Yeah. Y'all penny pinching here. We also got 3 new Sega Genesis games coming to the uh, NSO this in April. Yeah, so it's this
heck
month.
yeah.
I don't have the actual date, but the 3 games coming, it's ES or eSWAT City Under Siege, Streets of Rage, and Super Thunder Blade are the new games coming this month to NSO.
Good games to be added for sure.
I
Streets
think
of
the big
Rage
one
is
there is
essential.
yeah, Streets of Rage is like the one big one there, obviously.
Yeah, Super Thunderblade's a really good shooter too. But Streets of Rage, yeah, for sure. That's an essential for the Sega Genesis.
All right, so if I'm reading this right, they should be on there now, but like don't Okay, so on April 10th, so this was yesterday, these games came to NSO, so they're all 3 on there now. I was trying to figure out exactly what I was looking for, and I found it. It's
I
always
did,
good to see some games that have been forgotten, getting a second chance
I
of life.
did want to bring up that Nintendo obviously has to do something different with the joysticks because they got lawsuits for the Joy-Con drift and stuff like that. So I'm curious, like what they did differently with
I'm not sure. Did they
these
lose
new.
that lawsuit?
I don't know.
Did it go anywhere?
All I know was it was a big problem. It was a really
'Cause, I
big
mean, then you get
problem.
this big lawsuit, but like if they didn't lose, if they won the lawsuit, there's no incentive to like change because they outside of
Oh, dude, there is an
lawyer fees.
incentive to I'm pretty sure they lost. I'm like pretty sure they lost.
I'm just saying I've got no idea. I had
Uh,
not something I followed up on because I still have my original Joy Cons for my Switch. And I don't play it in handheld most of the time, but I've never ran into the Joy-Con drift on my Switch. But that's probably because I never or hardly ever play it in handheld mode. So
so there's multiple class action lawsuits that were filed against Nintendo.
which probably would have been shoved into one if it was all for the same thing, essentially. But was it ever actually
That's what I'm trying
resolved,
to.
or is
That's
it
what I'm trying to
still in
look here.
litigation?
It looks like it might still be ongoing. Actually,
Because these things
outcomes.
usually take like several months to a few years. So
Some have been resolved through settlements between Nintendo and the plaintiffs. Then
which means it was
ongoing
just
issues.
it was
Just
cheaper to settle out of court.
Yeah, despite Nintendo's free repair program and design revisions, some consumers report the Joy-Con drift persists, and the fundamental design flaws haven't been completely resolved. So there are still some ongoing cases right now, but some
Well,
have
to
been
be
settled
fair,
out of court.
considering probably where by the time that was resolved, they're like, well, the Switch 2 comes out, so why bother with the Switch? It's by the time we fix it, no one's buying this console anyways. So there's no point
But
to
they're
no
wanting to
incentive.
still sell it for several. They've came out and said in
Yeah, but like,
PR.
let's be fair. Like, there's really not a whole lot of incentive to
They
make a
essentially said if you can't, they basically said this in PR. If you can't afford the Switch 2, just get the Switch 1 and you can be in our ecosystem.
because like to be fair, outside of probably of the new Mario Kart game, at least the first year or two, you're gonna see mostly crossovers for their first party titles. But the
Look, I'm
Switch
going
2
to
is
say
gonna
a
perform
hot
better.
take here. I'm sorry, but the other systems are all more expensive than the Switch 2. If you cannot afford to get the Switch 2, you probably shouldn't be gaming. I'm just saying, like, maybe it's not a priority that you should be focusing on. If you can't afford to grab the Switch 2, maybe it's just not something
I mean, there are
grab.
a lot of people that dunk on it. It's like, oh well,
I
it's
think the
just
price
dunking
is
on
very
Nintendo.
fair. The technology that's inside that is like the technology that's inside the PS5 Pro.
I mean,
As far
it's
as like the DLSS and stuff like that that's going
yeah.
on inside the system, it's a pretty heavy stuff, man.
No, I was
So
gonna say a lot of that stuff is just people just dunking on Nintendo because it's just fun to dunk on something. It's like, oh well, you can emulate it, and I
I'm
can
sorry,
do
I
a whole
don't get
bunch
in
of other
that
stuff
dunking
on
on
the Steam
culture.
Deck.
I get so tired of it, man.
I mean, it's just the internet. Negativity always attracts more attention, so it's just the evolution of the console war. It's not a console war; it's the console versus PC war at this point.
I mean, get over it. Like, I'm into all of them. I love all of it. All of it. Play all of it. I have no problem. I never
Because
have.
I've seen most of it. It's not
I'm a
like
huge Nintendo fan, but I play all of it. I'm
yeah.
really big into PC gaming now.
Because I only have
Because of
like
you.
I only have the Switch for Nintendo games. I don't even have a Steam Deck because I'm like I'd rather just play it on my PC while I play a Steam Deck. I don't do anything handheld anyways half the time. So like even my Switch primarily play it docked. So like
I mean, if a Steam Deck 2 comes out, I'll definitely get it, but it's like it's so underpowered that I just have no
I mean Steam
interest.
Deck's been out for years at this
I
point. It's almost
know.
as old as the Switch. I feel like.
Yeah. It's just so underpowered. I have zero interest in grabbing it. But if a Steam Deck 2 comes out, I'd be interested for sure. Because I'm
Yeah,
working on building up my Steam library now. So
just waiting on that Steam OS so I don't have to like get Windows 11 because I just don't want Windows 11.
what do you mean the Steam OS?
They talk about making like Steam making its own operating system.
Yeah, it does have that on Steam Deck.
No, like on designed for like PC essentially, its own desktop operating system. So instead of using like Windows 11, you could use Steam's OS, or you go
That
the
sounds
Linux route.
terrible.
Well,
Windows has been around way too long for me to switch to.
yeah, but like, let's be fair. Windows 11, because I have to use it for work. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I hate it too. I mean, I wish I could go back to 10, but
I wish I could go back to 7 personally, but
I mean, I wish I could go back.
I
to
want
XP.
Windows 7,
bro. I think it peaked
but
at
with
XP,
the I want 7 with the aesthetic of 10, because I like how some of the stuff
bro.
looks. I just don't like the layouts and some of the unnecessary changes they made.
It peaked at XP. I will stand behind that forever.
Oh my!
I think
No,
XP
it really
was
peaked
so
with
good.
MS DOS. That's really where it peaked at.
Oh my God.
Or what's it? 98, 97.
98 was good too. 98 was good too.
All we know is we're in
XP
agreement
was
that Windows Millennium, I think is what it's called, was like terrible.
trash.
And
Vista. Vista was trash too. Absolute garbage.
It's hard to think I can still remember.
Millennium was so bad too, man. Yeah, those were garbage. But Windows 7, but Windows XP, I think I really do feel this way. I feel like Windows really did peak at XP. I feel like that was the perfect operating system.
Windows 7 was just a perfected XP. Essentially, it's the same operating system, just not as buggy.
You could say perfected, but I mean, I feel like it just like it was not as feature rich as XP. XP was so developed. There was so much going on with it. Like,
but I think 7
it was just so easy
a lot
to
of
use.
issues with XP.
7 was good though. I don't have any problems with 7 at all.
I just had the other issue of like, why do we need a whole new operating system like every 5 years? Like, come on, is this really necessary?
I mean, to be honest with you, right now, I wish there was a new operating system to replace 11 because I hate it.
I think you started to see it in 10, but you see it a lot in 11 where they're just starting to advertise. It's the forced turn on of the AI, because I don't use Cortana. I don't think it's useless. I don't even use Siri on my phone. I shut that off immediately. But it's that, and it's like the advertising. You open up like your home, you hit like the Windows button and stuff like that, and you're just getting blasted with advertisements. I'm like, I don't want that crap there. Like, it's a whole bunch of other stuff that Windows keeps shoving into their operating systems, and I'm like, I don't stop advertising. I just want my computer to do what it does.
Once used Cortana, but there's plenty of AI stuff that I do use.
I think Cortana's trash, but
like, I mean, the Google AI is like pretty much automatic. You search something, you get the AI search result first.
I think the only AI I really ever use is ChatGPT.
Yeah, I use ChatGPT.
I don't use it all
because
I use it periodically here.
But I use Grok too. Started using Grok.
I haven't used Grok.
Grok's good. Grok's really good. I mean, you get good answers and truthful answers on there. So there's no wavering of crap going on there. Any woke stuff and things like that. You don't have to worry about that stuff. But yeah, Grok's pretty good.
Yeah, and then we kind of already knew about some of this other information, but obviously, you reiterating the fact that Age of Imprisonment, they say it's going to be the first Hyrule Warriors game to be included in the official Zelda canon.
Wow, I thought Age of Calamity was canon.
Well, it wasn't included in the official canon, but this one apparently, because technically that's in a alternate timeline mostly when you play that game. It doesn't really, this one, based off what they're saying, it's not what they tease with that, and then you didn't really get it, which was the build up of the invasion. This is actually supposed to be the timeline that we know it's taking place in, from what they're alluding to there. So it's the actual war in that game that you just don't really get to see outside of like 1 or 2 flashbacks, and you barely get to see it. So this is supposed to be the full.
So this is essentially straight up prequel to Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, no, because the imprisoning war happens in that game, because you see it in the flashbacks when Zelda gets
right here. The game provides a backstory on the imprisoning war that sets up the events of Tears of the Kingdom.
You already know it. If you played and beat the game, you already know what happens because of the flashbacks with the teardrop water thing, or whatever you want to call it.
So this is just diving into that flashback.
Yeah, it's just expanding more of what actually happened that you missed and stuff like that.
Which is cool, because you don't get I mean, to be fair, as much as I love Tears of the Kingdom, even with the backstory elements that you collect, and you don't even have to get any of that. You have to collect them; they're optional. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which is frustrating. You can completely miss them.
You can completely miss them,
and you always get them out of order, unless you're following an actual guide. You get them out of order. Every single time. I got every single one of them out of order. But yeah, I mean, so this is cool to actually dive into that, because
I'm interested in more of what happened, in the story of those
And
games.
if this is the way they're
'Cause I
gonna,
love them so much.
and we've already talked about it, I don't mind this kind of Zelda storytelling moving forward with your mainline game. If they're gonna keep the same stuff with Breath and Tears, and they're gonna have this kind of somewhat flashback type stuff, so you fill in that stopgap with a
And the
Hyrule game
2D
that
games.
expands the story. It alleviates that 5-year gap or so between games and stuff like that. So I think
Well,
this
I
is
mean,
a decent
you can't
decision.
disregard the 2D games and stuff too. You had Link's Awakening,
No, but
Echoes of
like the
Wisdom.
usually the 2Ds are their own thing. This is like filling the gap of like a mainline game, and it's that big console stopgap.
Yeah.
But I feel like this will still be more popular than the last one we got. But I might be wrong about this. It's just feeling just because this one's tied into the new mainline games, and that's like it's its own story, and it's kind of doing its own thing. Because you
Yeah, I
already
mean,
know the one we had, I blanking on the name. It's in the Fallen Warrior timeline between some other games, so it's not even connected to Tears and Breath of the Wild.
it sounds like to me that I'm more interested in this game than I was,
I like
like
the I didn't say that I didn't play technically the first one, but the other one for Breath of the Wild, I really enjoyed the
I
game.
played all 3 versions of the first one.
I have the very first one, but I haven't got around to actually playing it because I know it's like a super long game, and it's just more of like a celebration of Zelda,
I played on
bringing all the
the
timelines
Wii
together.
U, 3DS, and Switch. It's ridiculous.
Bro's
But
dedicated.
yeah, I was dedicated. 3DS version's the best, just saying. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's cool.
But I
I
mean,
like
hey,
Age
this
of
means
Calamity. I like the original, so I mean, I like the gameplay style for it. Unfortunately, Age of Calamity had a lot of performance issues, which is really
because of the
frustrating.
Switch. Yeah,
Yeah, it
but
was
no, I was
really
just gonna say,
frustrating.
now you're getting another game where obviously Zelda's gonna be your main player because Link isn't in this one.
I have
Obviously, you're
no
gonna
problem
play
with
as
that.
like all your actual. I can kind of pull up it's kind of blurry, but
I have 0
uh,
problem with that. I
I mean,
imagine you're
you
gonna
can
play
kind
with
of infer you're gonna play as all these
all of
characters,
these characters, yeah.
but I mean, obviously, you're gonna probably start with Zelda, and she's gonna be the center point of the story because Link's back in the future doing whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
So you could technically say this is you're getting 2 Zelda lead games back to back at a Nintendo for Zelda.
Yeah, because I'm looking at, like, some screenshots, you see Zelda doing some moves and stuff, so you probably start with her. I have no problem with that at all.
Yeah, I would assume so. I assume it's just gonna play like the other two. Essentially, it's another Warriors like game, so it's not the most challenging in the world. But I mean, I'm looking forward to this game. It's probably the next
Yeah,
outside of
I'm
Mario
really
Kart,
excited about it.
Donkey Kong, and Metroid. This is like the next game on the list of what I'm
I mean, there's a whole
hyped
bunch
for.
to look forward to on Switch 2. I mean, we've got a lot of cool stuff coming. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
this
I guess you got Pokemon ZA.
all of those are straight pickups for me. Yeah, and Legends EA, like, that's 5 big titles right there coming out, all soon, so, yeah, I'm hyped, dude. I can't wait
I
for the
mean, I just like
console.
it. I mean, getting more Zelda consistently. That's not Skyward Sword. Love the story. Gameplay was atrocious, if you ask me. But that's
Gameplay
that's
was
a product
atrocious on the
of the
Switch.
Wii.
The
I
Wii
don't
I like the
I
Wii
don't like
version.
the
I
force motion controls, even with the Wii. I still
think
but
the
the
Wii
game's
version
also
was fine.
super even on the original version, it's super handholdy. Like, let's be fair.
It
I
is,
don't
but
mind the
it's still a
linearness.
good game. I think
I
it's
like
still a great game.
I don't hate the linearness. I don't hate the story. It's just it's one of those games where I cannot stand the gameplay. It's just really all there is to it.
I liked the
It's like
gameplay on the
other
Wii, but I
M.
didn't like it
I
was
don't
so
mind the story, but I hate the gameplay.
to me, it was so bad on the Switch, it's the only I mean, I beat it on the Wii, but it's the only, like, re-release, I guess, that I've never beat before. I didn't beat it on Switch because I hated it so much. I hated the way they tried to, make the mechanics of the game. I thought it felt terrible. I could not get used to it. I just did not like it at all. And then thinking of gyro controls just do not work like the IR sensors. They don't. They just don't.
It wasn't really designed
Gyro is
that
not
way.
even comparable to using the Wiimotes. So,
Yeah, and then didn't they say this game comes out next year, sometime in 2026? I think.
is this a
Is this?
2026
Oh,
game?
or is this winter?
I thought it was coming out
Winter
this year.
26. Well, I thought was it this year? Was it
I
winter
don't
when they
know.
actually?
I have to look actually because I could be
I'll watch
wrong.
the trailer real quick because I
I
can't.
know they've got a good timeline of games coming out this year, so it could be next year. Um, yeah, I'm not
I
sure.
gotta pull up the actual
Yeah,
direct
see if
one.
you can pull up the date.
It says coming this winter. So essentially, it's like December to February.
Yeah, so this is a this year game. So we're getting all kinds of games.
Potentially. It says
We're getting a lot
winter.
of big games this year.
Might not come out this year. Might come out next year. Technically, they said winter, which means that they haven't settled on a date yet.
Well, regardless, I mean, there's even some third party stuff that I'm picking up at launch. There's a couple games I've got already on my list that I want to grab. So I'll be grabbing Mario Kart World, and then I think there's 3 other games I want to grab at launch. So
Yeah.
I'll have my hands full at launch with that system. I'm so worried about not being able to secure one. Like I keep thinking about it. I'm like, oh my god, I really hope I can secure this on launch day, because I'm always a big launch guy with Nintendo. Like, I've just always been there. I was the only person standing out there at launch for the Wii U. So it's just important. It's something I'm very excited about. I'm legitimately very excited about this system.
But are you excited about maybe getting more? What is it? Is it just Gen 6, 360 or PS3 games to get more remasters? Potentially.
Yeah, that's good.
It's always good to hear some new stuff. So I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. I'm going to try to zoom a little bit. It's Night Dive Studios was asking for suggestions for new 360 or PS3 potential remasters, essentially, on their social media. So the studios previously worked on Turok 3, Star Wars Dark Forces, The Thing, Quake 2, as some of the games they've worked on. And then some of the games people were asking for, or some of their more popular requests, was the Riddick duology, Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon, The Darkness, and Yakuza Dead Souls. I know nothing of these games.
Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon, yes, 100%. I have not played. I know The Darkness. I have The Darkness, but I haven't played it. Yakuza Dead Souls, I don't know anything about. And then the Riddick games, I played a Riddick game. I don't know which one it was. So when they're saying duology, I don't know which one I played. I can't remember. But I was Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon are fantastic games. They're RPGs.
Yeah, some people were asking for Haze. I don't know anything about that game.
Yeah, that's a good game.
A few people asking. Someone saying XCOM.
Absolutely.
Battlefield Bad Company, Dragon Age Origins. Some of these games might be a little harder for them to remake, but it's one of those people. It's like, it's always good to see some old games, more niche games.
Halo 3 anniversary.
To be fair, you can already play that game right now. It's
but it's coming available from Spartan War Games.
Yeah, right. I mean, it seems like the Killzone games have kind of gone on the back burner. So
a lot of verified accounts that are responding to this, huh?
Batman Arkham, a Bully remaster would be really nice.
That'd be nice, but it's like, will they do that? That's such a good game too. Bully is so good.
So that means we need to be on the lookout for another remaster.
That'd be great. So The Darkness. All right, actually, I have played the game. I've got it. I have played it, but I haven't played enough of it to say what I think about it. But I know people really like it. Yes, the Alice series for sure. Wet is good. Wet is really good.
I've heard some really good things about Wet. I actually want to go back and play it. I saw some gameplay. I'm like, oh my god, this is like bad. Like, you don't see games like that anymore.
It's so good. But the Alice series, phenomenal. Oh my god, you would love it. You would love it. Seriously.
I have to try it.
The Fear games, I go on and on about those, man. I got those on the PS3 and 360. Haven't played that one.
Commander 2. It's a Square Enix game. Definitely a lot of people wanting a lot of more niche games. Dark Watch,
yeah, I know about that one, but I haven't played it.
Somebody else.
Azura's Wrath. Azura's Wrath is a game I told you I want you to play on PC because it's basically an anime in a video game. You basically play the anime. It's essentially an anime. I swear to God, it's as close as you can get to an anime video game.
There's a lot of good game suggestions. It's just
Mark, remember this. I really want you to play this game.
No, I will.
It's on Steam. Azura's Wrath.
No, yeah, because I think I got it saved.
You will love it.
So, like, if you haven't a chance, go over and ask for, I guess, drop a recommendation if you want, or at the very least, follow them because they're going to be
Joe Rogan's trending.
Hopefully, not. Joe Rogan's trending. I don't know. Why bring up Joe Rogan?
You had the tab up. I said Joe Rogan was trending.
It's just on the trending tab.
All right, what we got next?
I don't know, like, oh, because apparently
It's not trending on
oh
mine.
no, because apparently people are talking about it because he used the word retarded.
Oh, get over it. That's retarded that people think that they're retarded. It's so bad. Come on. Get over it.
Oh my god, some stuff just makes me laugh. I was like, oh, okay,
Oh,
of course
man.
he's trending. It's Joe Rogan. People are gonna find something to talk about.
I'm sorry. I love his podcast.
But if you were worried, Pokemon Go is allegedly not shutting down from their new owner. Obviously, they were sold off, so obviously the rumor was the game's not doing well. I think there's been a drop off because at least whether if you're rural or even if you're not, I don't know, the gameplay kind of gets stagnant after a while. It's easy to just not play it for months on end.
Yeah,
At
I
least
haven't
to me.
played. I haven't played in so long. I don't even have it downloaded anymore.
Because unless you live in a big city, rating's kind of hard and stuff like that. If you don't have like a bunch of people there, because you can do remote raids just fine, but like it costs money and stuff like that, and there's like a hard limit what you can do a day. So
Yeah, I'm pretty out on Pokemon Go. Unfortunately, Saint Roggy is always trending. Yeah, he's trending a lot.
Did I miss something? I don't know
That's
who
Joe
that is.
Rogan. He's talking about Joe Rogan.
Saint
Roggy.
Roggy. Okay, I don't know all the names y'all call him.
We're gonna have him on here someday, guys.
That's crazy. What do you think Pikachu would do if he's on DMT? That meme's never not be funny to me.
The GMT video is so funny just to watch of him. You remember the show on TV? It was like Joe Rogan questions everything. Do you remember that?
It sounds familiar. I don't think I've watched it though.
So that's where like the DMT thing came from. That's where it like all started. Because he was like checking out all these things, aliens and Christianity and like just it was like everything.
Oh,
it was like
one of the other funny things is when he had Alex
Jones.
Yeah, Alex Jones on, and he's like, I can't remember. There's one more recent time. He's like, you know what? I think I might be a little stupid. That's another really funny moment. That's a Joe Rogan.
The thing about like Joe Rogan that's so funny is he's so self-deprecating. Like if he doesn't know something about something,
Jimmy, why don't you bring that up?
He's not going to say something. Yeah, Jimmy, pull that up.
Let's verify this.
I mean, at least he does like verify this stuff, though. You know what I mean? Like a lot of other people don't verify stuff; they just say it, and that's the problem.
Because he had I think it really blew up around the time. What was this? 2019 when he had the Area 51 guy on.
What's his name? I watched the whole episode with him. Yeah,
he should know on top of that. That's like one of the big ones that really blew up for the first time. Because I can't remember that was before or after or around the same time. The whole we're gonna raid. Yeah, we're gonna raid Area 51. You remember that?
Yeah, that was stupid.
And nobody showed up. Everyone just went to Vegas.
Yeah, but that was the Bob Lazar.
I can't stop all of us, baby.
He was big way before that, though. He was.
No, he was, but like that's like the real first time I think remember hearing about the Joe Rogan podcast and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
It was around.
It was a big episode.
It was always around, but it wasn't like culturally relevant. It felt like for the longest time.
The thing is that like I'm not like getting political on here or anything because we don't do that, but that podcast is so big and so influential that I think it actually affected the election. Like I 100% feel that way.
I think to some degree it
shifted the tide of the election. I think it did for a lot of people. So I'll just leave that there.
Yeah. Not to get too political, but obviously iPhone's better than Android. You know what I'm saying.
I agree. I had to, unfortunately.
Talk about a hot take. That's
reluctantly upgrade. Like I love upgrading, but at the same time,
I love those arguments on that. Well, Android or Apple or Android. I'm like, you know what I see every time I hear that? It's like the multi-billion-dollar corporation that I support is better than the multi-billion-dollar corporation that you support. I'm like, this is such
You're
a
right.
stupid
Like they
argument.
don't care. No, no.
Such
That's
a
the thing with
pointless
the
argument.
console wars. That was always the deal with the console wars. That's why I never got into it.
Oh
Like,
god.
bro, I played Xbox at one friend's house. I had the GameCube. I played PS2 at another friend's
You were
house.
either
Eventually got a
Team
PS2.
PS3 or Team Xbox, and Nintendo was just off doing its own weird thing.
I was never that way. I was always I would love to have both, or I will play both depending on where
Oh,
I'm
God.
at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I pretty much grew up like during the whole console war. I was pretty much like, I got a Wii.
But that's
I
it.
didn't get a
I had a Wii
360 till
too.
like the
Yeah,
last 2 years of its life.
bro,
So.
same. Just had a Wii, and I was fine with it.
Oh
I had
god.
fun. I had a good time with the Wii.
And you realize, all these Japanese games are on the PlayStation. So then you went PS4. That's after
Bro,
Xbox's notorious
you're
Xbox
missing out.
One.
There's a lot of good JRPG. The Xseed games on Wii. Are you kidding me? Pandora's Tower.
But usually
Xenoblade
they were also
Chronicles.
they're on like Nintendo and then like a PlayStation as well. And the PS3 version would always be better than the Wii because it's a more powerful console, obviously.
No, the Operation Rainfall games are only on the Wii. Pandora's Tower.
At large,
Xenoblade
most of them
Chronicles.
would have been on Sony's console in that generation, though. Most of the big
There was a lot. There's a lot,
generations.
but to be fair, when that console launched, it launched at $600. So that's why a lot of people didn't have it.
Yeah.
It launched at a crazy price, which today would have been like $900 launch. So
Yeah. So there was some talks and stuff like that. So obviously, you're finally getting Wind Waker on the GameCube of NSO, but it's the GameCube version of Wind Waker, which it's like it's great to see, but like, why are you not getting the HD version?
No, they did fix a lot of stuff, and it is running better.
But the HD version's just
we would
better
rather
in
have
every
the
way.
HD version, yeah, for sure.
Well,
But
you already fixed it. There's a lot of people talk and stuff like that. So there was a Nintendo VP Nate Bildorf, I'm sure I butchered the name, was suggesting that an HD re-release still could be possible for this game, even though it's coming to the NSO library.
I feel like I don't know. I don't know.
If you're like,
I would buy it.
The HD version's still the way to go because it's going to have the higher resolution. It has all these fixes and stuff like that, and it doesn't take you forever to get anywhere. But like, this is like a really popular game. Why just not resell the game from the Wii U? Was like always the frustrating part. You ported everything else, but why not this? This would sell well. It's become a really popular game. And if you sold it for $60 again after just doing a small little port, everyone would buy this game and you'd make a boatload of money for very little effort at this point. It blows my mind. Like, I get what Nintendo wants with the NSO, but like, people do want the HD version. So like, why give us the inferior version of Wind Waker HD when that's always going to be the superior version? It doesn't matter what you're doing to the GameCube version. It's just not going to be what this is. Even if you fix all the bugs, the resolution is just better on this version.
No, I agree. I 100% agree the HD version would be better to have out, but they did say that all the GameCube games are going to be running at a better performance rate, so better frame rate, and they are all upscaled resolution. So they all do look better than the original game, but it's not the same thing as a remaster.
Which is what this was.
Yeah, this was a remaster.
Which at its core, it fixed a lot of issues. It's not just kind of like an upscale.
Like the sailing thing. That's going to be you try to play in the original. I can't.
If they haven't fixed it on the
Wii
GameCube version, it's just like, all right, why bother play this game? You might as well just get a Wii U.
Sailing for 20 minutes and that's it. And it's like the gameplay time we get these days. You'd be sailing for 20 minutes to get to the next spot. It's crazy.
At the very least, that has to be fixed in this version.
They did fast sailing in HD, and we need to have that on Switch too.
Yeah,
and Twilight Princess HD, we need to have that on Switch too. To me, I like Wind Waker. Don't get me wrong, but Twilight Princess to me matters more than Wind Waker. I want that game on Switch too. I love Twilight Princess. I love the dark aspect of that game, and I love Midna and the whole story of that game. I think it's so awesome.
I'm still hopeful that in the Switch 2 generation we're gonna get DS games coming.
I was gonna bring it up. I was gonna actually ask you,
and Spirit Tracks.
Do you think that DS and 3DS are a possibility in this we got DLSS involved now, so it's going to be easier to bring some of these games over.
DS first, then I think you need more time to go away from the 3DS, but I do think it the problem is there are some games you have to remove the 3D option with the 3DS because it's not going to work on this.
There's going to be a little bit more to that.
I think even if you do get the DS and the 3DS and stuff like that, you're going to get the older games first, and it's really only going to probably primarily be major first party games of Nintendo that they want to put out here, and you're going to get everything but the mainline Pokemon games at this point.
We know
You
it's
still might get
doable because
the
they
other
did it
ones,
with
but-
the Castlevania DS collection.
I mean, I think they will because the NSO is
Switch
quickly
1.
becoming really the only way to play the bulk of their Zelda library, especially for the handheld games. But even the older ones, like if you want to play Zelda, you essentially need the NSO because it's the easiest way to play these games without breaking the bank.
Today, the best way to play most Zelda games is still on the Wii U. You can play almost everything up to you can't play Tears of the Kingdom, you can't play Echoes.
Well, that's all. That's
it.
assuming that you
That's it.
You got everything before the eShop shut down.
There's ways around that.
Yeah, you can mod it, but you could get around and emulate all these games if you really wanted to at the end of the day. So
yeah. I mean,
it would be nice to have like an actual physical cartridge with all these games on there.
I agree.
Like that. Even if you made it like a 4-part series for $100, people would pay the price for it.
I mean, I'm a big Zelda fan. I would love to have these games physically, and
like if you had the creation timeline on one cartridge, the adult timeline on one, child timeline on the other, and then fallen timeline for the most part, like you could package that up and make a lot. Like these games, like most of these games could fit on these cartridges. You could do it. They just
I do have high hopes.
It takes away from NSO, which is what they really want.
I do have high hopes as they are remaking Age of Seasons and Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons. Yeah, Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons. I do have high hopes that they are remaking those two games together in a package because I feel like that's the next step for them to do with the 2E Zelda. I just
actually
do.
Considering where we're at right now with what we're getting on the Switch 2, with more and better with the network connectivity, you think because this feels like the best time to actually get another Four Swords game.
I would love to get another.
Because we already had 2 essentially.
Yeah, we've had 2. Yeah,
and stuff like that. One was on they're both on the handheld.
It was attached to. One was attached to Link to the Past, and then we got Four Swords Adventure on GameCube, which I had back in the day. You played
which was
it
even
with
harder
me.
to play.
You played it with me.
But with the internet connectivity now, like to some degree, it would make
we
sense
also
to
had
get another spin-off game. For
technically
those.
Had the 3DS game as well that had online play. I played it. It's why am I forgetting the title? I played the crap out of it.
I can't remember. Is it just Four Swords Adventure?
No, it's not. It's not even like a Four Swords.
Oh, is it Triforce Heroes?
Yeah, Triforce Heroes.
Yeah. So I guess
it's not technically a Four Swords game because it's 3 people.
But it's one of those rare multiplayer Zelda games.
Yeah, I mean, I beat the whole game online with people, and it was fun. Like we had a little Discord going for it.
I was like you're thinking like spin-off games, like another Four Swords in the style of the last Zelda game that we just had back in September. I'm blanking on the name of it. Maybe that art style. Yeah, Echoes of Wisdom, but use like the Four Swords gameplay style and stuff like that. Like
that'd be cool.
It doesn't have to be a big game, just a little spin-off game.
I would love to see a new Four Swords, but I would love much more to see a remake of Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons put together with the final events of you facing Ganon, because you had to have both games combined together, actually get the final ending. Like that was the whole deal with the game. So it was like,
can you even do that on NSO with those games?
I mean, how would you if they released them separately? How would you do that?
Yeah, because I don't think you can do it like that. But
it would have to be a remake.
Would want to see remakes, but also want to continue to get like new games as well and stuff like that. So I think that's like probably one of the big things I think we should hopefully get with the Switch 2 is another Four Swords game. Because I mean, why not?
I would love to get a new Four Swords for sure.
You know, with what they want to do with the connectivity with that they want to do and stuff like that. The on the go, they already have their video chat down below. So do that with a Four Swords game.
I think it's crazy that I was just looking at Nintendo tweets that Final Fantasy VII remake Intergrade is coming to. That's crazy. That's the PS5 version of that game coming to Switch 2. It's crazy.
I'm just curious, is it just going to run a little lower on the resolution of the frame rate, or did they like cut back on the graphics a little bit just to make sure it was going to run good?
I really don't know, because according to some of the reports that we saw, they're saying that the Switch 2 version of Street Fighter 6 is the best version of the game over the PS5.
That's weird.
It's very weird. I'm not sure. I don't understand this. Just articles that I've read.
Unless it's like an agreement where
seen,
it's developed for the Switch and then ported over to the PS5. But like if it wasn't developed for that, it's weird.
I don't imagine with DLSS, Square Enix is firmly knows all the ins and outs of DLSS. I imagine this does not run any worse than the PS5 version. I really don't think so.
I mean, it'd be nice to see PS5 and Switch 2 versions of some games run.
I think this runs just as well. I truly think. I think there's going to be no noticeable differences between the two versions. Because I'm looking at gameplay right now, and I can tell you, it doesn't look any different to me at all. It looks exactly like Intergrade does on the PS5. Like, frame rate looks good, resolution looks good. So I think that we all kind of underestimated the Switch 2, honestly. Like, because we all thought all PS4 level, and some were like, oh, maybe PS4 Pro. But here we're talking about a PS5 game, a PS5 exclusive game coming to the Switch. So I think we underestimated the Switch 2 a little bit.
I mean, that's the hope when we actually get our hands on it. Also, like, if you had not already been following the news, though, so if you have Nintendo Switch Online Plus Expansion Pass, you will get the Switch 2 edition upgrades for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom included in that thing. So you don't have to pay the $10 or $20 that they're charging for it out of pocket. As Brandon heads out, just keep moving on. So we got some word from Reggie about the Switch 2 pricing controversy. What is it? Sorry, I had it pulled up for a second. I don't have Brandon here to go back and forth while I pull this up real quick. But obviously the price between the console and mainly the games and stuff like that. So, I was trying to figure out where it was. So yeah, so Reggie essentially tweeted out. Let me pull it up for y'all so you can see. That makes a lot more sense about the Wii Sports. Zoom this up for you a little bit. So essentially just tweeted out, the story of Wii Sports Pack-In. We play Remote Plus and the results from this YouTube channel and stuff like that. It just feels like one of those, you just having a good time poking the bear a little bit, but they're talking about it. Obviously these people kind of know what's going on, but I was gonna go a little bit more into this. Obviously we talked about the pricing a little bit early on with some of the pricing. It was kind of brought up in the chat in like the first half hour we were talking. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot. And if you really want to go out and watch these Wii the pack and stuff. Oh, is this really long or is it short? All right. So let me we can share this first one real quick. Because why not? This is from IGN. So IGN was interviewing him.
And one of the ones that stood out to me was during the debate over whether or not to pack in Wii Sports with the Wii, and Miyamoto pushed back pretty hard against that. And it was like one of the biggest points of discussion, and kind of one of the bigger wins for you.
Yeah, it's an understatement to say that Mr. Miyamoto pushed back. During the development of the Wii and the Wii Sports software, again, the goal was, we wanted this system to be attractive not only to the most active players but to new players, and to bring them into the video gaming experience. And we saw Wii Sports as the way to be able to do that, because each of these sports made great use of the Wii Remote.
You have a few.
Okay, so yeah, so we're just gonna loop there, but I guess the idea and is makes sense where there's obviously some ideological differences where some people just want to like sell some stuff to you. Other times it's like, the whole pack and like this makes a lot more sense. And I don't know if Bowser just thinks differently or just didn't push back as much, but that was it was an interesting take on the whole on the whole issue of pricing in games and stuff like that. Did you see that?
I got to hear, a little bit of what you're talking about with Reggie. I saw some of that with the Wii Sports stuff, and I thought that was pretty interesting. Kind of hear some of the backstory on that, and Miyamoto kind of pushing back on it and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
because I think this is less about the cost for Mario Kart World, the whole $80, but the whole like especially like the welcome tour in $10, like that really should have just been a pack-in game.
It should have been a packing game. I will say this: I want to be straight up. I am going to buy it just so that I can check it out and talk to you guys about
good
it.
for you. I'm not wasting my money on it. You're gonna be one of like 10 people that buy that game.
I think it's stupid. I really do. It should be a pack-in title, or it shouldn't exist at all. But I don't know. Maybe I won't. I don't know yet. I was thinking about doing it for a video, but I don't know yet.
I guess if you're able to get it, you could just do it as get it out the gate quickly.
Stuff to do that, like maybe I don't even need to worry about. Like there's gonna be enough Switch 2 content to cover, because moving forward, like I really do want to cover a lot of Switch 2 stuff. There's so much coming out for it that I really want to hone in on that.
I don't know if there's any internal discussions, but I think I agree. Like, there's nothing wrong with a pack-in title. It helps you sell your game and stuff like that. If you wanted to sell it at a slightly higher price, you have somewhat of an excuse of like, well, you're getting this game. So I think Welcome Tour is not the same as what Wii Sports was.
No, not at all.
The idea of pack-in games just doesn't exist anymore, and it kind of sucks. It's like the standard. You get something when you buy the console at launch.
I mean, sometimes you get
buy like the expanded pack or not.
Sometimes you get like bundles later that'll have like pack.
Yeah, they're doing the bundle with the Wii, but like
PS5, they have like a Last of Us bundle. They have like a Madden bundle,
or I guess because they're giving us like the Mario Kart World bundle, but like the base thing should have something to play it instead of just a menu that you can scroll through. That's it. You can't do anything. You have to spend extra money on another game. I get the benefit with this. It's technically backwards compatible, but like there should be something that helps you show off the hardware. Like let's be fair, for the Switch, 1-2 Switch should have been a pack-in title.
So Astro's Playroom, that's what which was amazing. It was a fun experience. Like I wish there was more of it, and they have updated it since. They're just a few months ago they added content to it, but that was a experience for you to figure out the DualSense controller, all the capabilities of it, everything that you could do with the controller. It showed off everything about the console. It went through the history of PlayStation. It was a pack-in game. And
but I mean, like, this isn't even really much of a game. It just you can explore what the Switch 2
it's
is.
It's the same concept of Astro's Playroom. It just doesn't look the same. Like
but you're like sitting here like, bro,
aspects.
Like we knew it when we were watching the direct. Like if this isn't a pack-in, no one's buying this. Like there's no.
Yeah, it's not going to be It's going to be a 1-2 Switch deal. It's going to be one of those.
Complete waste of money.
Yeah.
The problem was with the 1-2 Switch was a $60 game, and it was not $60 content.
They think
just got ripped off.
Although I do have to get that for the full set of Switch first party games, but I have not bought it because I haven't found it for like $10.
Yeah.
So that's like
Wii
one
Sports
of the
became
last ones I want to get.
Wii Sports was such an iconic game, and it helped with their later, Wii games, Wii Sports games down the road.
Resort was really good too. I mean,
it was such a good game.
Wii Sports Resort, like a thing was that they introduced the what was the adapter called?
I know what you're saying, like the extended adapter that helped with stabilization or the controls. I just remember what it was called.
And they introduced that, and I was like, man, this is mind blowing. This is so good. Like the sword fighting, and like it was really, really good. Wii Sports Resort was great.
It's just something fun to do. You have a bunch of sports you can play, hop in by yourself or play with friends or something like that.
I got gold on everything in Wii Sports. Like I played the crap out of that game. I played so much of that.
Oh yeah, because you can see how much you played your skill level.
Yeah, tennis was my jam on that.
I
I
don't know. For
love
me,
Nintendo.
it was the baseball that I really liked playing. Baseball and bowling.
Baseball was fun too. Bowling was really fun, but tennis was my favorite.
Yeah, it sucks that the pack-in it's just a dead concept at this point. They just want to.
It is. It's unfortunate.
Everybody, Nintendo, Microsoft, so they just want to nickel and dime you to death.
I mean, I'm glad they're doing the Mario Kart bundle, which, like I said, I'm
but
so
it's
upset
technically
that I
not a
didn't.
pack-in. It's just a bundle.
But
For a
it
game
is. It
we're
does
already
make the
gonna
game
buy.
cheaper. It does make the game cheaper.
Yeah, so it encourages people to go after that first and foremost.
Yeah, which is why I'm upset I didn't select that for the Nintendo thing. But who knows if I'll even get through for that? So
Yeah, so there was some stuff. If you haven't been following, obviously by now it's kind of been resolved. But there are some issues going around with the physical Switch 2 edition and the upgrades and stuff like that. So there is an upgrade, or you can buy the brand new physical for some of these games, like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and stuff like that. There's a digital upgrade, or you can buy the game again with all that content on the actual physical cartridge if you want the actual cartridge. But I do think they did say it's only the base game in the upgrade pack on these cartridges for the Switch 2. So you still have to buy the DLC for like Breath of the Wild and stuff like that.
So
Which kind of is kind of confusing. I'm like, why not have the DLC in there as one go?
So I could be wrong. But from what I just read, because I added it into the notes earlier, the DLC is not even a part of the remaster for Switch 2. It's not even possible to buy it.
I thought you just had to buy it separately, but the fact that it's not there at all just blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a big deal getting the motorcycle, and then obviously like the Master Trials, the first set of the DLC, like all that stuff.
Yeah, it's like really, you can really, it's the only part of the game that you can really challenge yourself.
So let me pull up the article that I was looking at to kind of question that Breath of the Wild stuff. So Zelda Breath of the Wild's $70 Switch 2 release does not include DLC. Going through it here. Let's see. So it does not say anything about getting the DLC whatsoever in the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Breath of the Wild. So
hopefully that gets resolved pretty quickly, but because there's good content there in those DLCs.
Okay, so hold on. This says the Switch 2 game card won't contain content from the Master Trials or Champions Ballad. And players will have to buy the expansion pass in addition to the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of this game. It will cost $70, which is $10 more expensive than Breath of the Wild retailed in 2017. At the very least, we know the Switch 2 enhancements will be on Breath of the Wild on the game card. Those enhancements include improved resolution and frame rate, as well as compatibility with the new Zelda Notes feature on the Nintendo Switch app. So,
but that comes down to
purchasable.
Is it?
It should be on there. It should be on there.
Is it even worth getting the Switch 2 version of that game though? You just have to. You're essentially you're paying for the game twice at that point.
Well, you get the upgrade. I mean, I'll get the upgrade for sure.
No, but like if you wanted the actual the Switch 2 cartridge of the game.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like I'm a big enough Zelda fan that I feel like I do want the physical cart for those games, but I don't know that I'll buy
as
them
more like a collection thing. Like you just keep it sealed at that point.
Yeah,
just
I don't
have it on the shelf.
Right, exactly. I don't know if I'll buy them like right away or anything.
It doesn't make
like
sense
that.
to be that expensive. That makes more sense if you're gonna sell for like maybe $40 or something like that, or the price of the cartridge plus $10. Like you don't really like that's just there are times where you're just like I can tell you're nickel and diming your customers because people will pay that price tag for it.
They will. I mean,
that might be something like for me. I might try to find like a used copy down the road potentially. I don't.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'll do that because I want to have that physical cart for sure because it's Zelda. But I don't know that I want to buy that outright at $70 when I already own the game. Like I'll get the upgrade. Maybe I'll buy the physical.
I mean, I think they say if you have the NSO upgrade, if you have Nintendo Switch Plus
online,
expansion pass,
yeah,
you don't have to. You don't have to pay the $10 for the upgrade. But the fact that they're
really
charging full retail price for the game on Switch,
Yeah,
from what they said, here it is. So far, Nintendo has only revealed a handful of Switch 2 editions, alongside the fact that most original Switch games can still be played normally through backwards compatibility. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Switch 2 players can pick up enhanced versions of Super Mario Jamboree, Kirby the Forgotten. This was typed weird. Kirby the Forgotten Land, Pokemon Legends ZA, Breath of the Wild, as well as Tears of the Kingdom. It's worth noting that Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pass subscribers can grab both the Legend of Zelda Switch 2 upgrades completely for free, or $9.99 for everyone else.
Oh,
This
okay.
whole
I
paragraph
got
is word of
expansion
wheel.
pass plus.
So if
I
you
don't
have
worry
the
about
expansion
that.
pass, you get those, so you don't have to pay it out at it. You don't have to. You just use put the Switch 1 cartridge in.
That
you get the
goes for
upgrades,
Super
but-
Mario Party Jamboree too. You get that free DLC.
From what I was kind of reading, like the Gamer Rant worded this paragraph really weirdly, but for what I was under the impression was the upgrades, if you had the expansion pass, was free. We'd obviously for Legend of Zelda and Breath of the Wild, but I was under the impression for all these games it was. I might be mistaken. This is just the way they worded this paragraph kind of was
I
confusing
will
me.
say the only one, and I played it because I borrowed it from a friend when it came out. I will buy the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Kirby and the Forgotten Land because I don't own it already on Switch 1. But I did get to play
I don't have
it.
that.
It's really good. It's probably the best Kirby game of all time. Like if you're
but
gonna play
like somebody's
Kirby game,
like Prime 4 and Pokemon Legends, like obviously you just get the Switch 2 versions of these games. You don't have to worry about the
Yeah, for
backwards.
sure.
Like I have to buy the
100%.
game anyways, so
yeah, 100%.
but you know, for these like for the Zelda games, you're sitting here like you've already made your money. Why are you like recharging full retail? But I mean, it's the Nintendo thing. They don't ever want to like lower the price, but it's just.
I mean, look. It's not just
it,
Nintendo. Look, they've done. We're going to be talking about it a little bit later, but they do it on PlayStation and Xbox too.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
look at The Last of Us. The Last of Us stuff, man. I'm telling you, like they've done a lot of weird stuff on PlayStation too.
You're sitting here like this only makes sense if you've never gotten or played these games before. If you already own these games, this is a complete waste of money.
Yeah,
but yeah, we'll get into a little bit later.
Yeah,
but just in case you were worried about it, Nintendo did come out and say the Switch 2 cartridges will taste bad if you try to eat it, just like the Switch 1 cartridges. That is confirmed. I don't know why this is something we have to confirm, but
I saw that. I was like, oh, that's hilarious. Oh man. How many kids are trying to eat Switch 2 cartridges?
Yeah, I don't know. It's something weird. And then because there were some issues about it before, as far as like just like the Switch 1, they'll let you know if the game is just a digital key for the download. But
that was on Switch 1. That's one of the things I keep saying on X. People are arguing about that. I'm like, that has been on Switch 1
and they
forever.
Came out and said it will be on the box. You'll have to know it, but like
it would say the top of the box on the Switch 1 would say that it's a game card. It's a download code or whatever. It said it. I always said it on the Switch 1.
Which is why I don't want to. I was like, they did this on the Switch 1 because the cartridges are only so big. Obviously, they're bigger and better because Cyberpunk 2077, the whole game is going to be on a 64 gig cartridge. I mean, granted, the game's going to run 30 to 40 frames per second, regardless of the mode that you're on. So there obviously had to be some performance drop off because that's just a really big game. But the fact that they can still put the game on a full cartridge is still impressive. So hopefully it's. Well, to be fair, this is really going to come down to the developer. This is going to be their decision whether they're going to put the game on the cartridge or make it a download. Because I'm pretty sure most of these games were third-party developers that had their games digitally downloaded. Because that's kind of how it was for the Switch 1, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think there was a first-party game that had that download code. I don't remember, but I could be wrong.
The only thing that I can think of, and it wasn't technically a first-party game, was Mario Rabbids had that. Mario Rabbids...
I guess there was also like,
but it was a Ubisoft game.
Yeah, it was like technically there was a Ubisoft game. They were just using the Mario IP.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
Most of the first-party games didn't have that problem. It was third-party games that were just too big for the Switch 1 to handle on a cartridge. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, this is like okay, but like this was on the Switch 1, so I don't know why it was like bent out of shape.
But I will say, I mean, the fact that they can fit all of Cyberpunk 2077 on the cart and still run at 40 frames a second, pretty crazy, man. That's like It's pretty crazy. And
Yeah,
I think with DLSS, if they were working more with that and had more time, they could probably get that up to 60 frames. But I think with the time of trying to get these games out and trying to get third party support out, that
because actually it's
is
not
how it
that
worked
bad
out.
with a little compression because that game is only about just shy of 85 gigs on my PC. So you had to they chopped down about 20 gigs of game files from at least the PC version. I don't know how much like
But
the
I
PlayStation stuff is.
truly believe they ramped up the DLSS on it. They could get that to run 60 frames, no problem. But I mean, even running the
There's a
40
lot
frames,
going on
like,
in that game, to be fair.
there is a lot going on in the game. But I mean, that's still crazy to see the full game on the cart like that.
Because that game wouldn't have run at all on the Switch one. It just didn't have the hardware for it.
No way.
I mean, that game struggled on the base level PS4 when it came out, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't even
But
know.
that was
We
just
don't
the game
even
was
know
just
if this Cyberpunk 2077 has DLSS support at all.
I'm
Like,
just
that
going
might-
to assume that the DLSS was built into that frame rate. That's why they're getting the frame rate. Because obviously, there's still some sacrifice. Like that game still can chug on
Maybe.
a PC at times. So
Yeah.
then again, I
Maybe.
modded the crap out of the game, so that's probably why it chugs sometimes for me.
You gotta teach me how to mod these games. I don't know how to do it.
You can do what I did, and you just
Bro, I've been
figure
getting
stuff
into
out.
PC games heavy, and I don't know how to mod anything.
But I know Brandon was super ready for this Piranha Plant camera for the Switch 2.
I'm
And
buying
it's
it.
fantastic if you want your camera to run at 480p
480p.
resolution.
Yeah.
Which
I'm
means you
s-
only buy this thing because it looks cool to shit on.
That's the only reason I'm buying it. Only reason.
Who is selling a 480? Like webcams at 1080p are like $20 at Walmart.
I mean, it's
How is
crazy.
this webcam such low resolution? It's just a piece of plastic with a webcam.
I
What
don't
the hell's going on
understand it.
here?
I don't understand it.
This doesn't
I
make
absolutely
any sense to
will
me.
not be using it. I mean, like the official one runs at 1080p.
Is this Nintendo or is this Hori being
This
stupid?
is Hori. This is
piece of plastic.
licensed, but officially licensed. Nintendo tweeted about it today.
Oh
I just
my
pulled it
God.
up. So Nintendo tweeted about it. Hold on, let me pull it up. They put out a lot of tweets. They tweeted about it today. I saw it. I'm pretty sure it was today.
Okay, here you know. All you needed to do was take a separate camera. Where is it? Just something like this. 1080p, $20 camera on Amazon. Or I guess 25 it's marked down. But like, come on. This is like
do we know how much the Piranha Plant camera is?
probably $50 if I had to guess.
Oh my god, I'm not gonna buy it at $50. Get out of here.
I got a bunch of stuff. I'm just guessing because
$50. There's no way.
would it
I
surprise
imagine
you?
this is a $20. This has got to be $20.
there's no way it's $20.
It's got to be. Otherwise, you're crazy. I'm not buying it. 25 max. 25 max.
Did they even give us a price tag on this thing?
No, I don't think we have one yet. I'm looking at Nintendo's Facebook because I couldn't.
They
see
say
it
it's
on Twitter.
they say it's cheaper than Nintendo's official one.
Well, it should be. It's 480p.
For 480p, this would be like a $10 camera is what they should be. Because that's what it is. It's like a $5-10 camera, 480p. Yeah, 480. We were just talking about 480p is great if it's 2004.
Yeah.
Like Jesus.
If people
How
are
is this
actually
acceptable at
using
all?
that for the feature, it's
How
going to
is
be like
any
a bad move.
webcam, which is all this is, below 1080p even being developed at this? Like this is like it blows my mind.
You know, I saw it was pretty cool. We were talking about the game chat and stuff last week, right? So Nintendo put on April 3rd, they put out a video of people playing on game chat, playing Link to the Past and Four Swords via the Switch, which is like a really cool, actually a really cool concept and like a cool way to play Four Swords. Like that. That's I like that.
like,
I actually like that.
Give us a new one, Nintendo. What's going on here?
Yeah, for sure. Give us a new one, but no, I like that. Like there is some functionality for game chat. I think that does make sense. I think in general for me and you, like it's going to mostly not be a thing that we care about, but for something like Four Swords, that would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about it before. Outside of the voice chat, I think the actual video is very situational and at large, it's just not going to be used.
But can I know we don't have this in the notes, but I would like to bring this up because you are a big fan. And I'm a big fan as well. The new Gundam Seed game, Battle Destiny, is coming to the Switch. Or Switch 2, sorry. It's coming to the Switch 2. I don't know if you saw the gameplay, but they just put it on their Facebook, I think 11 hours ago.
What was this, a Vita game? Yeah, this was a Vita game, originally came out in 2012 in Japan only. So we never got this game in the West.
Yeah, we never got
Like
this
most
game.
of these games never came to the West.
But like this, it looks good for Switch 2. It looks really good. Like it doesn't. It's remastered and it doesn't look like a Vita game to me.
I was like, is this the same one as the GBA one that I picked up in Japan? But I was like, I can't read it. And this was GBA, so it was probably a different game. But
no, but you can definitely tell this is a fully remastered game. Like it looks like a.
I think they have to. Like the Vita didn't have really the best resolution. Is this
Vita
a
games look good.
game?
Vita games look good
on a Vita, not on a 1080 on a 4K screen.
Vita had an OLED screen and everything, man. It looked good.
But it's it has low resolution just because of the size of the screen.
But no, this looks really good.
Like,
and like
480p
this is something me and you could play.
I'm just saying, like 480p would look fine on like a cell phone size screen, but like on a TV, it looks terrible when it's blown up.
But this does not. The trailer does not look terrible, which is good.
I would expect him to do a lot of work onto it.
But is this something that you would want to pick up with me to play?
I mean, yeah, I love Gundam Seed. I have slight issues with Destiny, but Gundam Seed's one of the favorite Gundam series. I think
gameplay's good. The gameplay
their best
really
alternate universe series.
Gundam Seed, yeah, I get it with Destiny, but yeah, the game looks good.
Because this game comes out in May, so
there's another third-party pickup. Yeah,
May 21st.
Yep, it's a Switch 2 exclusive as far as I'm understanding.
No, it's because I pulled it up. It comes out on May 21st on Steam. I think it's gonna come out on everything, but
I think I want to have this physically though. I think I want to test out that Switch 2 and stuff. I think it's one I would want to have on Switch 2.
Get it for the Switch, and then maybe you could always get it on both. I might just buy it twice.
Steam later, yeah. Buy
it on Steam first, and then just buy both of them. Play it on Steam, but have the physical.
Exactly, yeah. Mr. Coffee said Vita screen is great compared to 3DS. That screen looked great. I agree. I think it's still. I have straight up compared Ys on the I put them side by side on the Switch and on the Vita, and I could not tell a difference. So I'm serious. Like the OLED screen on the Vita was like. It just for the time was unreal, like that they use in the OLED screen, and it looks so good. Still looks good compared to some Switch titles today. Really does. It still compares to some titles today. So I think the Vita is phenomenal. I love it. We got it plugged up at all times, ready to go.
Vita really was a good handheld, though I didn't play it a whole lot. It was
fantastic.
Nice games.
I love it. It's one of my favorite handhelds of all time.
But yeah, I guess we can kind of go into some of our main stuff. So Nintendo is reporting that they're sending most of their Vietnam-made Switch 2 consoles to the U.S. essentially, and then because as for the time being, there's still a 10% tariff in place for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was in this article, but from what I've heard, there was rumors that said that more than likely they're willing to take a loss with that 10%, and the rumor was they're going to just sell it as is with a slight loss. But it also probably means they're not going to drop the game prices though.
It was very apparent, obviously, 100% that for US and Canada they decided to stop the pre-orders because they were deciding if they were going to raise the price or not.
Well, they needed the big thing was they needed to figure out what was going to happen and where they were going to stand with cost and everything else. They had to figure out, are we going to keep it? Can we take the loss, or what's going on? So this is not, obviously they haven't made anything official, but everything that I've heard is they're leaning towards just they're going to eat that 10% loss and sell it as is. Because to be fair, even if you take that into account, any increase just makes it that much harder to sell it.
Yeah, it does.
So you're thinking
Nintendo is not known for taking losses on their handhelds, on their consoles. Period.
Yeah. So I guess we'll find out here in a hot second, because on top of that's where most of them are coming from. That's a lot of stuff. Most of the stuff is manufactured in Vietnam. I think they said there's like one or two part that's piece of the hardware that's built that's made in China and stuff like that. But on top of that, it's also there's a I don't think it's a rumor thing. It's pretty sure it's official. Yeah, because it was on pretty sure it was on Nintendo's website that for the U.S. and then probably going to be Canada on top of that. The Switch 2 pre-orders and pre-order invitations from my Nintendo will roll out on the 8th of May, which means probably around 8, 9, 10, whatever that week is when pre-orders are going to officially go live across the board for the Switch 2.
When did you say?
May 8th is when
May 8th?
That's when the My Nintendo, the website, that's when those pre-orders are supposed to roll out on the 8th, which means it's probably going to be that day, right around that same time period that everything else goes live or right after that date.
Oh, wow. Like I've been seeing that it could be any day now. People are waiting.
Because I think from what everything, I'm going to see if they...
That's a long time to wait for pre-orders.
So this was pulled from their actual website at the bottom where you click that register. It says the first batch of invitations will go out starting May 8th with additional batches of invitation emails sent periodically until purchasing on My Nintendo Store is open to everyone. So they essentially pushed it back a whole month.
Daggone, man, that kind of sucks. So that means it's probably going to be
pre-orders like a month before it
pre-orders for everybody, probably.
Well, if based off of what they said before, it was supposed to pre-orders was on what they were going to send the first batch out the day before it officially went live. So you could assume probably the 9th is when it's going to be open. Everything across the board is when pre-orders officially start. So,
dang. Yeah, I think people.
I mean, this is just pre-order, so
like any day now for it. From what I've seen,
actually, the idea is it's not any day. It's you still you have about 3 weeks before 4 weeks before pre-orders go live. So,
dang.
At least we have like an actual a date that they're gonna. At least the My Nintendo.
Yeah, they're judging that based on the hours that you have on your Switch already. Is how they're judging it. The amount of time you spend on your Switch.
So I mean, because I already did that a while ago. So it's a matter of do either of us get an email that says, "Hey, you're able to
I spent a lot of time on my Switch, so I think I'm good. I play my Switch the most, so I think I should be good on hours. I think I saw a thing that says about people having over 100 hours or more on the last, I forget, like 90 days or something. I saw.
Last night, well, I think it's just I think their site just said lifetime. You needed X amount of hour, like 50 hours lifetime on the Switch.
Oh, really? Okay, all right.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't one of those last 90 days. From what the official site when we went through and read it last time, it was just hours played. No,
okay, all
last
right,
90-day thing.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it makes more sense. So, yeah, I mean, the
idea is
they were
just trying to
get the My Nintendo rollout, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, damn, because I selected the wrong one. I'll have to buy Mario Kart World separate, but if it comes through and I get the chance to buy it, I'm just gonna go ahead and buy it and just do it that way.
I guess I was saying the main thing about the 50 hours was it was supposed to. It's one of those where it's like it's just cutting out scalpers.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It's a good concept.
Things.
Yeah,
where at this point, even if you're gonna scalp. Well, if you're gonna make 10 scalping, you have to have NSO paid 10 times.
Right, you can't make bots
it's
for
one of those.
That.
It wouldn't be cost efficient even to at this point to do it again. But the idea was where they're cutting out scalpers because the cost and the time investment based off the original was like going to be almost impossible to do. And
I still stand if I see it pop up and I can buy it for you too, I'll still buy a second one just in case. And if you end up getting it before. Then I'll
because once we know, I'll still go to my local GameStop just in case and see if I'm able to grab it.
You keep me in mind. Don't forget about me.
That's assuming they don't have you can only order one type thing.
We'll see. I guess. I mean, I think the retailers might not care, but
it depends.
It depends. Yeah, I won't have a GameStop to check, so I don't know.
It's more like the best outside of the My Nintendo is probably gonna be the best option because everything else is gonna be online and it's just gonna be gobbled up.
It's gonna be it's not gonna be fun. That's what I'm worried about. I'm really worried about the launch of it, being able to try to get it from launch and stuff. So we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see what happens at the end of the day. So obviously everything is still subject to change, but
yeah,
I guess we'll just have to keep an eye out. And this is just the current stuff that we're tracking right now.
Yeah, for sure.
On top of that, we also Let me move this over real quick because I think this just looks a lot better on screen. Xbox Showcase, Sunday, June 8th, and we're getting a direct for The Outer Worlds 2 coming. So mark your calendar. That sucks. It's a Sunday because that means we have a whole 5 days where we can talk about it.
Yeah, that
But it's going live 10 a.m.
suck.
on a
It's gonna
Sunday.
be like late
Might have
news.
to try to live stream this if we're able to, because it's
June 8th. We might be able to. Yeah,
it's Sunday 10 a.m. Pacific, so it'll be 1 or 2 p.m. your time.
yeah, we might be able to do that. That'd be fun. It's always fun to stream those showcases and directs and stuff like that. So yeah, we can try to do that. I don't see why not.
What about yeah? So that's like the yeah. So
I mean,
it's
I
a ways
hope
out
that
there,
they
but it
bring
should be
out
a
some good
direct.
stuff, because the last direct, like, they brought out good stuff, and I feel like, we're probably going to see more about Wu Chang. I feel like it's going to be a thing. Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, because it was quite literally on the screen. The Outer Worlds 2 is directly that's not shown on the screen. It's directly following
right
the Xbox
after
Showcase.
Yeah.
So we have the Xbox Showcase, and then they're going to do more specific for the Outer Worlds 2. And I like the first Outer Worlds game, so I'm
liked
excited
it
to see what
too.
they're going to do for this one.
Yeah, I liked it too. I thought it was fun.
And then obviously, because this is about the time period where E3 would have been, so it's pretty much up until around June 8th. That's when the all Nintendo news kind of goes away. Even though the Switch 2 will be out, there'll be a lot more to actually talk about. It just feels like a lot of Nintendo, because the Mario Kart World Direct comes out next Thursday.
Yeah,
Sure. So next, it's like three podcasts in a row. It's just mainly Nintendo, because that's like
that's just how it is for console launches. I think when new consoles launch, I think it's how it is.
Because you got to know the other industries kind of know what Nintendo's probably doing. They caught
PlayStation,
wind, like, let's just back off and give it some room to breathe. We don't want
PlayStation straight out put out a poll on X saying, "Are you buying a Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever?" Like, let's see if I can pull it up. But PlayStation,
of course, the majority is gonna be no, because they're PlayStation people are gonna follow.
Let me see if I can pull it up, because I can't remember how long ago it was. Let's see. Yeah, it was interesting. They straight up put a thing out about Switch 2, and it was like, oh, that's kind of cool that they did that. I actually think it was positive from what I remember seeing. Man, they put out so many tweets. How far back are we going? Dang, I don't see it.
Is it crazy that June's right around the corner? Feels like 2025 just started. I mean, technically, you're only 4 months in, but you're like, June's gonna be here before you know it.
It is kind of crazy. I ordered the I'm crazy because I love the controllers. I ordered the Last of Us controllers today. I mean, I knew it was going to be super limited. It was already being scalped. It was already being scalped on eBay. So I was like, it came up on Amazon again. And I was like, I went ahead and ordered it. I thought it looked pretty cool. I thought it looked pretty cool, and I always like the cool design controllers. So I can't find the poll, but anyway, they put something out somewhere that was talking about the.
I mean, I guess the only other, before we get to the last thing, the only thing that I saw recently was South of Midnight came out, and it just had abysmal Steam numbers. It only peaked at like 1,400 people.
Really?
Yeah, it was essentially not doing all that well. That's like the only other big thing, but it was such a small thing in the news. It's like, you're talking about this because nothing else is coming out, and Sweet Baby Inc. had a big hand on that game, but it's just kind of like, yeah, we kind of all expected this game to kind of flop like everything else. Assassin's Creed Shadow didn't save Ubisoft, because they're essentially
didn't.
All sorts of issue, bringing in Tencent to help them out, which I guess can kind of help roll into the last one, because this doesn't have anything to do with Assassin's Creed or Tencent, but they're in the midst of a lawsuit. So essentially, they are shutting down the crew, and now there's a ongoing lawsuit because of it. And I feel like this could be a pretty decent case, because essentially Ubisoft's main argument is what they say: you don't have unfettered ownership rights. Essentially, you only have a limited license to access the game. You essentially you're just not going to own your games anymore, which was the big thing that really, when they came out and said that was the turnoff of like, okay, I'm never buying an Ubisoft game again, and I haven't ever since. But the fact, essentially, there's a lawsuit because the idea is, are we we need some closure on the fact that you're just gonna license the game, or when you buy the game, do you actually own it? Like, this is a discussion that needs to be, resolved. Like, as more people
Yeah.
kind of learn about what's actually going on, especially as you head towards the digital, like, is there a way to resolve this properly, or are you just gonna be stuck with the license?
I mean, the licensing is a problem. So I saw a meme today, actually, funny enough, that was talking about um it was essentially a positive thing towards Steam, weirdly, but they were talking about owning the game. They're like, "Do you own your game?" And I had Steam, said no, and then had GOG and said, "Yes, you own your game." And they were like thumbs up for Steam or whatever, and they were like thumb sideways for GOG. But like that's the thing about that's my problem with Steam too, is that I have a lot more GOG games. I've told you that. Like, I do
Yeah.
have I am
I think
building
the
up the
big thing
Steam
with GOG
library a
is the
little bit,
DRM.
but
But the problem with the game like The Crew is it's server based, so it doesn't really matter.
yeah,
So
the
there's
game
2
like
things
that
that
doesn't
come in.
matter.
So there's 2 things. Obviously, one of the big things is the claimants are, accused Ubisoft. I'm reading this from the article, at IGN. The claimants accused Ubisoft of violating California's false advertising law, unfair compensation law, and Consumer Legal Remedies Act, as well as common law fraud and breach of warranty claims. Essentially, they're saying that Ubisoft broke California state law around gift cards, which are not allowed to expire. This is an actual quote from Ubisoft. They said, plaintiffs allege that they purchased physical copies of The Crew under the belief that they were obtaining unfettered access to the game in perpetuity. Sorry. Plaintiffs also take issue with the fact that Ubisoft did not offer to create a offline single player option of the game, otherwise known as a patch when it shut down the Crew servers in March 2024. Ubisoft's lawyer wrote. So the idea, this is kind of coming to the conclusion, especially with like online video games, is, do you own your game, or is this a license? And is there, if you're selling a physical copy of a online game, is that misleading if you weren't saying, hey, you don't own this game, this is a license?
That's a tough one because there's a lot of physical copies of online only games.
No, but
There's
like,
a lot of physical copies of online games that you have to, or games that you have to be connected to play that are even single player.
yeah. So Ubisoft has obviously filed a motion to dismiss, saying there's nothing here, but like, this is one of those things that, if it were to move forward, could have like major consequences. If say this ruling were to go to the fact that, if you buy a product, you own it, which means these companies have to, afford you a way to play this game, even if like the server shut down, or it completely changes, game development, or the whole concept of, you don't buy a license even if it's digital only, like you own that game, which could create a whole host of other issues potentially. Not really. It's just they have to have a way for you to re-download a game if you bought it, essentially. But like, this could be probably one of the biggest huge outcomes if it goes the way the customer wants it to go. We want
Yeah.
it to go, with the outcome, at least here in the US. But even if it was like US ruling, it would affect the industry globally, because you're not going to have different standards for the most part. So like this it could get tossed out and it doesn't really matter, or this ruling could have like huge implications
Impact.
moving
Yeah.
forward with how it affects the industry, and not necessarily single player games, but especially like online multiplayer games. It's a huge problem. So like, what if they want to shut it down? Do they then have to offer some kind of offline mode, or the ability for you to play this game
They
using
should.
PC as a
I,
server,
I
essentially?
mean, this is a weird example, but this is just for instance, like Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. They were shutting the game down. They offered for you to be able to buy the full game on iOS now for $10. You just buy the full game to play offline single player mode. Don't have to be connected or anything like that. I mean, it's a weird example, but like they have done stuff like that for games where they end up offering a single player offline mode.
Where it's like, this is doable. Plus, because of the timing, you have to feel like they saw some of these things going on. Like, let's just not fall into this potential issue. We see certain laws that could put us into a bind, and this is not that hard for us to do. So let's just make an offline mode and kind of be done with it. Potentially,
Yeah.
do you think?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Mr. Coffee said, I don't think the gaming industry really thought what is a digital game and who owns it. I mean, it's like hard. It's hard to say on this. Like,
I'm like, there's the legalese hidden in the terms of service that nobody reads. Let's be fair.
Yeah,
Nobody's
right,
reading
right.
the terms and all this stuff. They're just hitting yes and play. But like, let's be fair. Just because you put something in a contract or a terms of service doesn't make it legally binding, and it doesn't mean it's going to hold up in court. Just because you signed, like, just because I went through a class for this, just because you like you and somebody else have wrote a contract and agreed to the contract, doesn't mean it's legally binding. Doesn't mean it follows laws. Doesn't mean it can't be tossed out and
So,
annulled.
like a terms of service where you have to agree before you can play the game,
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
stand up
technically
for it?
you're agreeing to a contract, but just because you agree to it doesn't mean it's legally binding. And it will always it doesn't mean it's legal, and will be held up in court
Well, that
essentially.
could be, yeah, it could be major
Especially if it
impact for the game
contradicts it.
industry. Then,
Like if a because this affects more than gaming. Like if you and me were to sign like a business contract,
yeah,
we both could agree to it, but it violates federal and state laws here in the U.S. means the contract's null and void, and it would get tossed out.
it's crazy. I didn't know that. Yeah,
Just because you sign a
I thought
contract
because
doesn't mean
they
it's legally
offer that
binding.
terms of service and you agree to it,
I mean, yeah,
then
you
it's
agree
legally
to it,
binding.
but doesn't mean it will always hold up in court. The courts could be like, no,
Hmm.
you can't do this, or this was misleading, or you. To be fair, you didn't expect people to read this, or this violates these certain laws or statutes, so it doesn't really matter what you agreed to. We said you can't do this,
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's got major impact.
which is why
on
you run
gaming,
into
for
issues like
sure.
this. Because 100% in those terms of service or whatever those things you agreed to when you play online, it says somewhere buried in there was like you were buying a license of this game. Guaranteed that was in there somewhere. Like you don't own this game or you're buying a license. But now you're going to court because it's misleading. You didn't come out and say that. Or is this even legal? Can you even do this based off of these certain laws in the state? Which is what you're going to run into. So it's who knows how this could go.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be interested to see what happens. I don't
But
know.
yeah, it's one of those things. Like just because they put it in here doesn't mean you're going to win a court case or it's going to hold up. Essentially, so
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
it's a complicated world.
It certainly sounds like it. Yeah. I mean, I'll be interested to see what happens because, I mean, those physical copies of online only games are always weird, especially weird when it's or a single player game like Valhalla, for instance. Just think of a Ubisoft game that
Yeah.
I really enjoyed. You had to be connected to the internet to play the game, which is unfortunate. It's
which is completely BS. But even for just digitally only games, like if this could have massive ramifications. If it were to come out that if you buy something, you own it, even if it's digital media, that means how they approach certain things has to change. Or what if it drops off? Say the Steam page can't buy it anymore. Well, then to some degree, Steam still has to allow you to re-download the game, even if you don't have it, which means you have to maintain server access and stuff like that. But
yeah.
this also means, or do they make different rulings for digital or physical? There's a whole issue there. Or what happens if, say, like Ubisoft goes under and their IP is just in limbo? How do you access and access digital games and stuff like that? That's a whole host of issues. Like something like PC is a little bit easier because everything goes through like a third party like Steam, because they have delisted games before. But if you already bought it, they allow you to re-download it and stuff like that. But that's something they would have to do. If this becomes a thing where it's like you have, just because it's digital only, you still have to, they still own the game. Does that potentially save, say, physical media then? Because
Right.
what they want to do with digital doesn't really go the way they want, because they can't just like cut you out and stuff like that. Does that mean they are more inclined to keep physical copies because this ruling says they have to, or because it makes it easier to navigate, certain legal rulings and stuff like that? Like this could get tossed out and this is all moot point, or this could move forward and it could have potentially big ramifications on the outcome of this ruling. Potentially, obviously, it's going to this will take probably a few years to get resolved. if it doesn't get tossed out, they're going to go through the whole legal proceedings. You're going to get a ruling. It's going to get challenged. You're going to have some back and forth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
You need certain interpretations. And just because like you get a court ruling doesn't mean you can't have like a law later that negates that or changes how certain things work. It's a big mess. And I feel like this is something we're going to be talking about for a while, but you're probably going to be a year or two if you get like some actual hard resolution. And even when you get resolution, you're gonna have some X amount of time to comply. And this is something that's going to take a while, but it's worth paying attention to. But even if you don't get the ruling that you want, doesn't mean you still can't get laws changed in the future that benefit the consumer and stuff like that. So there's a whole potential can of worms that you could really go down. It's just kind of interesting to talk about. So
yeah, it is for sure.
This is less about dunking on Ubisoft. They just happen to be involved in this. More about like this lawsuit itself could lead to good things for the consumer, or it could just prove that nobody cares about you. Just buy the slop. You'll own nothing and be happy.
Yeah, it's a craziness with Ubisoft, and I'll be interested to see what comes of this for sure. So,
yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to hit up.
I think we're good.
Got a lot of good stuff, a lot of Nintendo stuff.
Yeah,
we didn't go as long this week, only about 2.5 hours. So
it went pretty long last week. I know I just got uploaded on audio. I was pretty late getting it up, but yeah.
I mean, I guess the 20 minutes was just the bantering we did for like the first half hour. So
yeah, it's
before we even got into any of the main stuff we wanted to talk about. So appreciate everyone supporting the podcast. Obviously, got to hit us up on all the socials, the Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Kick, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X, Threads, all the fun stuff. We're live streaming tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you're not late, I believe we're playing something different for the first time in like a month.
Yeah.
We were supposed to play I feel like a month and a half ago. It's the Earth Defense Force.
Yeah, 3.1.
4.1, one of the 4.1 games.
Yeah, one of those.
It's Earth Defense Force. Wanted to play this for a while. Didn't play it before I left. Then we came back and Monster Hunter came out. That was a big game. Really, really good game and stuff like that. So got a lot of other games we want to play too. Still want to go back to that, but there's a lot of stuff to play out there.
Yeah,
so.
A lot of stuff to play. Yep. So
I don't know if I missed anything for you before we head out.
No, I think we're good. So I
appreciate everybody.
Can close out here, and we appreciate everybody watching, listening.
Got some really good. I guess next week we'll probably be talking just a half hour at Mario Kart World because we have a whole direct for that game coming up. So
I'm excited to talk more about it, though. I'm excited to see more about the game. So I think other people will be excited too. So we're getting a lot of Nintendo viewers in, and a lot of people love Nintendo. So
always good. Finally get to all right. We're gonna get to the first real look at is this game worth $70 or not?
$80.
$80. Yeah, it's same difference,
All right, thanks everyone. We'll see you again next week. If you are listening, please give us a follow on either Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, any of those platforms. It definitely helps, and we'll see you all later. Have a good one, guys.
Peace out, everybody.